Yo, SEAL Team 711 fam, how we doing tonight? You guys ready for a debate? I know I'm ready for a debate. I'm looking forward to this one, even though we've got some pretty stupid rules on the books. We all know Trump is going to throw down tonight. What do you guys think of the new setup, huh? You done a little upgrading, done a little work. No more glitchiness. I can show you guys things and I don't have to worry about it disappearing. Huh? I think that is pretty dope. Haven't been live since we got back from the trip from Reno. So Reno was amazing. Went and saw Trump. Went to the Carson City rally. For those of you who don't already know, went with Mr. Andizant. Mr. Andizant made that trip even more enjoyable than it would have been without him, and I appreciate him for coming along. We also had joined up there with Black Conservative Preacher and Mr. Black Rebel Space Force on Twitter. Don't forget the underscore. But yeah, we had a great time. It was good stuff. We were really tired. We were really tired. The trip was 11 hours for me, probably about 9 or 10 hours for Andizant, which I guess with stops and stuff, it was closer to 12 hours for me. But yeah, it was, every last bit of it was worth it. A couple interesting facts, like I downloaded the Trump 2020 app like you're supposed to. I registered and then made sure they knew I was coming. I got my tickets, which I thought would be pretty important to go see a president. I figured you'd probably need some tickets, but they didn't actually check our tickets at the rally. I thought that was kind of weird. You just waited in line forever, went through security, and then, yeah. Catfish, what's up, brother, man? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yo, what's good, Andale? What is good? You guys ready for a debate? I know I am ready for this debate, even though we got some funky rules. I don't know what these rules are. Man, we got some upgrades to the stream here too. You guys might have not seen the intro. Here in a little bit, I'll show you guys again. Well, I can at least show you guys this one. Check this. We got this new one. Yeah. Dope. Very dope. Liking that one. We've upgraded our banners. We've upgraded all kinds of stuff. As you can see, I'm no longer running on crappy glitch technology. We are running some pretty decent technology now behind us, so we're not glitching. We look good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Catfish. I appreciate that. We've also got we've upgraded we've upgraded pretty much everything. I'll let you guys find out, almost like Easter eggs. But yeah, so we ended up, where was I? I was talking about the rally. At the rally, they didn't even check our tickets. I thought that was really surprising to me. I really thought tickets would be more important, but they weren't. So basically, we waited outside. We got there probably about 7 in the morning ish, and we were about 110, 111 in line or something like that. And that was, we waited for hours. We were told the doors weren't going to open until 1 o'clock. But they started moving the line and putting us into like the different holding areas closer to like 10. And so 54.4K modem. Yeah, we've upgraded, guys. We've gone from dial-up to an actual modem. That is correct. Level 2 accomplished. But yeah, so we get into these cattle guards. They're making us wait forever. The sun was killing us. The sun was so hot down there. I think it was like 84 degrees that day. Luckily, they were handing out water to everybody, making sure everybody was hydrated. That helped out a lot. They were handing out, sunscreen and all that kind of good stuff. And just making sure everybody in the line was comfortable. Around 1, they finally let us go through security. Security was similar to something you might experience at the airport. Empty your pockets, go through metal detector, get the wanding. Didn't get felt up though, so maybe not even as bad as the airport. So a little bit more freedom, I would say. They did have a strict rule. Wasn't allowed to take my, as you guys call it, my douche flute. I was not allowed to take that in, so I had to survive without my nicotine for, what was it? Many hours. If we went in out, I guess it wasn't all that bad. If we got in around 1 to 4, maybe 5. So yeah, about 4 hours. It felt like forever. But yeah, so, and then we sat in there for a while. Then they started having some speakers. I'm trying to remember who the speakers were. I know one of them was Michael McDonald, who is the leader of the Republicans there in Nevada. Funny story, as I'm walking around in my live stream on my second live stream on the inside, him and another lady who is a minority leader of the Republicans were up front. She was dressed in all red and he was kind of a bigger guy, but we had noticed that there was kind of like a gathering of people up towards the stage, and so I'm like, I'm gonna go check it out. Well, anyways, I got up there and I kind of forgot that I was trying to check out who they were because I basically got crowded in and got stuck. So I was just interested in getting out of that crowd. And I ended up bumping the lady in red, and she turned around and gave me a nasty look. And she was like, "Really?" Later find out she was somebody that was pretty big in the state of Nevada. Didn't mean to bump her. And then later on the way back, song was playing. I kind of started gigging to it, and then the bigger guy started gigging to it, and he noticed me gigging, and as he walked by, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey," and he's like, you know, kind of like, "Right on, you're gigging." And then later I see both of them up speaking. So the only thing I would say was disappointing about the entire experience going to see Trump at a rally was that the airport that we were at was too small for Air Force One to land there. So he had to land in Reno and leave Air Force One behind. He did try to make up for it, though. In my second stream, you do see Air Force One do a flyover, which is pretty cool. I did capture it. I don't know. It's not the best capturing of it, but you see it for sure. So, but yeah, he does a flyover, and then he rode the beast in, and then of course he graced us with his presence, and that was good times. You know what I didn't expect was when he took the stage. You know, I'm a person, it takes a lot to get me to feel some type of emotion, I guess you could say. I'm not a very emotional person. But when he took the stage, I expected I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs. But when I first saw him with my own eyes, that it actually, like, I think I froze. They talk about the 3 reactions from the brainstem, the fight, flight, or freeze. I'm pretty sure I froze in that one, and I'm usually a fight guy, so that should tell you. the respect that I've got for our president. That man is fighting for every one of our freedoms. He's fighting against a really dirty swamp that I don't think any of us realized how dirty it actually was and how deep it went. But yeah, we absolutely are fighting for our country right now. This is the most important election of our lives. Curious, have any of you folks already voted? Have you already got them in there and got them in there early? We got to make sure, a lot of the Democrats have done a lot of their voting already. I'm expecting Republicans to come in a little bit late. If anything, I think the whole counting ballots late thing might kind of backfire, because Democrats are supposed to be they're all voting early, it seems. It looks like they're voting early and they're going in there. So if anything, the extra couple days to get your ballots and stuff in the States might actually benefit the Republicans. I mean, you think about, election day, and you hear that Democrats are winning in a certain state on November 3rd, and then the Republicans go, well, crap, I need to go put my vote in. I forgot to do that. And so, could go either way. It's going to be really interesting how that goes. Yeah, I noticed that, Andale. Although Fox News came out today with a poll trying to say that Trump was only leading in Ohio by a small margin, and that Biden was leading in the other 3 states that Trump won last time. I don't believe it. I don't personally believe it. I think they're full of it. I think they're suppression polls, but I guess we're gonna find out. Have you guys seen these really weird rules that we've got going on for today's debate after last time? We've got some pretty interesting. Like they're going to be muting mics apparently because of the whole interrupting thing. 83% of Republicans. Yeah, absolutely. I don't trust vote by mail myself, but being an Oregon resident, you don't really have too much of a choice. So, the best you can do in Oregon is you can fill out your ballot and do what I did, which is take it to a ballot box and make sure to drop it in a county that's not run by a bunch of Democrats. So, for example, I dropped my ballot in Clackamas County, which is a more conservative county, a county that I don't have to worry about them opening it up, seeing that I voted for Trump, and then throwing my vote away. So, and that's about the best you can do in Oregon. If you can vote in person, I highly recommend you do that in your state. Oh, yeah, you ain't going to stump the Trump. Anyways, so, yeah, check this out. Okay, so Debate Commission adopts new rules to mute mics. So the idea here is that, let's see, the idea is here now, instead of having interrupting, they're going to close the mics down. But, my guess is that if Trump has something to say, he's going to keep on going. He's going to be loud enough that we're going to hear it, but we'll see. I don't know if I like this very much. But it says President Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden will have their microphones cut off in Thursday's debate while their rival delivers their opening 2-minute answer to each of the debate topics. So the question I have is, are they going to have any time where they can have open discussion? The 90-minute debate is divided into 6 15-minute segments, with each candidate granted 2 minutes to deliver uninterrupted remarks before proceeding to an open debate. Okay, so they are going to be able to argue and contest each other. That's what I was kind of concerned about today. I was hoping that we would still get our typical Trump stuff, but I've seen them popping a lot of last second rules out there that I'm not too friendly with. Hey, that one girl, what's going on, cutie? Vince. Why are you calling him handsome? Hello. Hello. But yeah. But yeah, the muted mics thing, that is not a benefit to Donald Trump. That is a handicap. So there's a handicap there for Donald Trump. And there was a couple other things that I had noticed that were, just silly rules that they had put up. Of course, they did the whole social distancing thing, muted mics, blah, 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 all the above. So just finished Drunken History Part 2. Are you reading my biography? Just curious. Could be. We're about to have a bar back here, actually, so we can have ourselves some wonderful beverages during the streams. Yeah, exactly. And then the moderator for tonight, I don't know how much I trust the moderator. It doesn't seem like Trump has ever in history had a favorable moderator. But I think that's what we love about the man. We love that this man is out there fighting for us. He's fighting against everybody. This man had the most cushy life on planet Earth. This man was living in gold-covered walls and ceilings and just about everything, flying around in his plane, doing whatever he wanted without any type of criticism. And he dropped it all to come fight for us. He dropped it all to fight for this country. He dropped it all to come get the one thing you can't buy with money, which is legacy. And boy, regardless what happens with this election, I believe 45 will be a president that has established a legacy for a long time to come. Although I do believe Trump will win re-election, but we shall see. Oh, Catfish, why do I see messages deleted? What did that say? Oh, for some reason, Streamlabs thinks you're posting links. Yeah, don't post it. Streamlabs will automatically take the links out, guys, so. And then, yeah, Streamlabs has it put down there to where if you guys end up trying to post leaks or something, you've got to be a mod. If you need a link posted up in there, make sure to get it past a mod. But yeah, Streamlabs automatically pulls links down. Oh, yeah, see, Streamlabs is kind of dumb. And, like, if you maybe post a period and then you don't put a space after it and you immediately type something, it thinks you're putting up a website. So you have to excuse Streamlabs bot. It's a little D-to-D. But, yeah. Anyhow. So, it looks like... we've got Right Side Broadcasting up. I suppose that we should probably pull up another source, but let's go ahead and get here. We'll at least get that into the background and get us debate ready. Yeah. So yeah, let's see, who do we have for... Has anybody looked up the history of the person hosting the debate? Do we know anything about her? What her history is? Any liberal or conservative bias? Like, what do we know about her? And you know what? Let's go ahead and I'm going to pull a couple things up. Let's go ahead and put up our buddy here who's now on the right side.
Pretty much everything. So the country will go into a recession by next summer if Biden-Harris wins. This is my prediction. Maybe a depression if the spending, and Biden is promising everything.
I'm excited also.
Everything.
If you guys haven't checked
out
out
$30 trillion.
SEALTeam711.com, that's SEALTeam711.com. That's where you can interact with the stream. And
all of the money that we have.
We've got I spent a lot of time last night working on all the dono reactions and sounds and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope so.
I don't want to scare you.
But went through and
but this is what is going to happen.
Change some things up.
If the Senate
we'll see how
goes
those
to the Democrats. So Biden
if those
has
are
a free
unleashed
run
tonight.
With the House and the Senate being Democrat. That's what's going to happen. Now you can buy
Meanwhile, while we're listening to O'Reilly here, I'm going to go ahead
can,
and see if we can't pull up some information on the lady who's running the debate.
But the IRS going to
really? Vince, Kristen Walker is completely in the pocket of the Dems.
Of gutting corporations and affluent people for as much money as they can get will crash the economy. There's no doubt about it. So all the people thinking that Biden's going to give them stuff, which he will.
I don't see it currently.
Absolutely will.
And I didn't see it earlier.
If they're looking around for a job,
I do have GoPro stock.
Because there'll be fewer jobs.
So
all right,
that might explain. Actually, I haven't looked lately. But I think my GoPro stock has been going up lately.
Progressive entitlement programs. Free college, free daycare, free this, free that.
Streamer Tech Channel. I mean,
socialized medicine.
That could be a thing.
They'll try. I don't know if they'll be able to do it, but they'll try.
Could definitely be a thing.
Second Amendment, goodbye. All kinds of federal regulations. Supreme Court is going to be really busy.
Yeah, Vince, I figured she was probably in the pockets of the Dems. I figured she'd be on in the left.
Hat
like
from your job. That'll be
when I was at the Trump rally recently,
if you're a student at a liberal
one
university,
of the speakers said something that was
like
pretty
the Ivy League,
pretty simple but pretty eye-opening at the same
time.
You
can get a D if they don't like your.
He said, since Donald Trump, don't let me mess his name up.
This is all going to happen.
Still not quite awake today, guys. But Donald Trump, at any point in time since he started running, have you ever seen a poll where he's winning?
You should know and tell your friends, is they don't want a guy like
and you
Trump
look around the entire crowd, and you're like,
and the way to
everyone's
do that
laughing.
Is to duplicate what's happening.
But the man
California,
keeps winning,
Illinois, and New York State.
So. Don't believe those polls. Don't let them get you down. We'll see what's going to happen on Election Day.
And they're going to try to do that on the federal level.
ACB, man, what happened today with the Democrats not showing up, it's getting spicy, guys. I like that the Republicans changed the rules. If they're going to play games, change the rules.
Right there.
Make it happen.
They'll try.
Push her through. I'll tell you what.
They can't do it.
The thing that we have going for us is that even if these Democrats steal this election,
so you can see this massive wave
if they go forward,
far left progressive,
and try to, they do something to steal this. What
because
we do have
up to any of that
is that Trump has put so many federal and appellate judges into place
political body
in office, and of course, 3 Scoops for those who watch Liberal Hive Mind. Shout out to him.
Out of nowhere, that's
who's being shadowbound currently on YouTube. So if you guys can share his videos, get his word out as well.
Any ruling will be a political ruling.
But if you, but yeah, 3 Supreme Court justices. They're gonna get ACB in there. Now the question is, are they going to pack the court? So I think that could be bad for them politically, but I don't think they really care. I think the only thing they care about is power, so they're willing to do whatever it takes if they get in there. But the question is, what if Trump gets reelected, and now that he knows that they want to pack the court, what if we pack the court?
I reach millions of people.
How would we feel about that?
Millions.
They'd call us hypocrites, of course.
170 million registered voters.
But yeah, how would that go?
You think 60, 70% of them know what I just told you? They don't. So the debate, new rule on a Thursday night debate. So you have a question, and then each candidate gets 2 minutes to answer.
It's good to know.
The other candidate's mic is muted, so Trump can't jump in.
Uh-oh.
And then they
that
open the
girl,
mics.
You gonna go pick up after your dog?
Oh, what a shock. COVID's first. American Family second. I don't know what that is.
From
Race in
my
America.
clock here,
I know
I'm
what that
showing
is.
that
White
we're T minus
supremacy.
35
Yeah.
minutes. Yes, we
All
are
right?
getting close.
Climate change. Why don't you listen to the science, Mr. President?
You know, I don't
National
think it's
security
something the
delusion.
Republicans wanted to do.
Thursday night, 9
I don't think it was
o'clock,
even in the cards or
Belmont
anything, but now
University,
that they're
Nashville,
talking
Tennessee.
about it,
Now, right after that, just as we did in the
Like,
first debate, I will come on live.
it's like it's almost like if we don't do it,
analyze
they're
it
going to
in
do
a
it at some
no-spin,
point. I mean,
honest
at some
way.
point, another
The
party is
moderator,
going
of
to
course,
get
we went
power.
over yesterday is a Democrat, NBC.
Hey, how
correspondent,
crazy is it to
Kirsten
see
Welker.
Bill O'Reilly back
And we
on
ran
television
down that her
again?
whole family donates big money.
Only now he's over
Democrats,
on
and
Right
she is a
Side
Democrat
Broadcasting
herself.
Network.
So the despicable Jake Tapper, who bills himself as a newsman but is anything but, on CNN tweets out,
Trying to
quote,
find out
if any other outlet started
how my
covering the
how my
political
GoPro
donations
stocks
of
are
the
doing,
parents
Nando.
of folks
If you say
who
that,
work at Fox, it would be widespread outrage, and rightly so. This is
my
hideous
investing portfolio looks
unjournalistic
pretty
and another
good
example of
today.
how
Yeah,
bad
GoPro.
actors use
My
standards
GoPro
against
stocks are
those
doing
who
well.
Hold them, of course, right. So the folks should have no clue about who Kirsten Welker is.
Yeah, my
or the
GoPro
environment in which
stocks.
she lives, right?
GoPro is
Jake,
currently at
right? Yeah.
670
All right.
per share.
I
It
wish
does
Donald
look like
Trump
it kind of had a
would watch
huge
this
drop
broadcast
today.
tonight,
It
but
was
even if he
actually
did,
up a lot
I don't
more
think
than
he'd
that. It looks
incorporate
like
anything I say. Because unlike
Well,
the
not too
Democrats,
much more. It was
very
up to
disciplined message. Trump doesn't have a message. He just says
677.
whatever he
I
wants to say.
personally bought into GoPro
It's
at
effective. He's a showman.
398.
But it's not like they have a Republican conference call and say this is
So,
what we're going to do, and
yeah.
everybody's going to do it. Number one, they only have Fox.
GoPro
and
is
talk
going up. I'm
radio.
assuming that has to do with the
So
new
they're not gonna
GoPro
get anything
9
there.
that they're putting out.
And they're
So,
GOP does put
In terms
out
of stocks, glad I had some
talking points. I
GoPro
never
in my
get them. I've never seen
portfolio.
them. But
I'll
I-
tell
I've
you
never
what
seen them
really
do, but
kicked
it's not
butt
like
this
that.
year.
But
My
even
best
if you- if
performer
Trump- they
was
said to
a
Trump,
stock
hey,
called
this should be the best
INO.
last 2 weeks. He's not going to say it. He's not going to do it.
INO, I went all
That's
in
it.
during the
But I hope
pandemic.
that
I
he
had to
just
pull
looks
out of a
at the
bunch of
camera on
areas as soon as
Thursday
I heard
night,
about the
give me a break
pandemic
with this
and
COVID
ended
stuff.
up doing.
See what's going on in Europe? Did they not
Ended up putting
listen
a lot
to the
of,
science? Every single
had to put
country
a bunch of
there?
money somewhere, and
on.
I saw INO.
Stop
I
at the
studied
line.
them. I realized
That's
that they
what I
had the
would say. I hope
capability
he says it,
to
but
put
I don't
out
think he will.
a
Hunter
vaccine
Biden,
and all that stuff.
not
I
a winning
realized
issue
that
for
they
Donald
didn't
Trump.
have the
Joe
workload,
Biden
and because of that, their
getting
stocks were really
millions of
cheap.
dollars
I
for
bought
his
in at
family,
about
that's a winning
$2 a
issue.
share, and I
Leave
spent.
Hunter out of it.
I think it was $2,000.
You
I
can
bought 1,000
mention
shares,
that he was a
$2 a
recipient
share.
of this $10 million
and then
more.
the stock
But
went
don't
nuts.
hammer Hunter.
And I probably
Hammer
sold a little
Joe.
bit early, but I'm happy about where I sold. I
Okay.
sold around
Should
$27.50 a
Barr,
share.
the Attorney General,
So,
investigate
I mean,
Hunter?
a
No.
pretty little penny
All right,
off
that's
of
not
that
going to
one.
do you any good, Mr. President. It's Joe Biden.
I'll have to
who's
put
corrupt.
my
Who cares about Hunter?
Robinhood link.
And the economy,
I use
as I just stated it
an
to
actual
you,
broker for most of my
and I
trading,
wouldn't
but
mind if he
Robinhood is
stole
more
my
of
whole
a
monologue.
way for me
Just
to just
tell
keep
people
track
what's
of what's
gonna
going on
happen
on my phone, and then I've got some
Scare
in there
the
just for
living hell
fun,
out
just to
of
play around with.
I mean, because what I told you is absolutely going to come to bear.
Odyssey, what is Odyssey?
If Trump loses the debate on Thursday, and I mean does something untoward and, something that everybody is just made uneasy by, then he loses the election. This is a big moment, Thursday night. He's got to be authoritative. He's got to be confident in his questioning to Joe Biden, because Ms. Welker, with all due respect, is not going to do it.
Yo, so I also heard that they banned foreign policy.
Hey, let me tell you a secret.
Did you guys hear that? That they're not going to talk about foreign
creams,
policy
gels, and fancy products that crowd
from
your
at this
bathroom
debate.
and break
You
your
guys
wallet?
realize why they're doing that,
You
right?
need one product, one small bottle.
They're doing that.
Called Shave Secret. It's a blend of natural oils that leaves your skin
The
feeling
reason they're
smooth,
doing that
smelling
is
great,
because
and
of the
looking better.
emails.
No
They
more
don't want
razor
Trump to
burn,
bring
no
up the
more
emails. They don't
overpriced
want him
nonsense
talking about it
butters,
on the
creams, and
national
blends.
stage.
All it takes.
But you know
is a few
Trump's going to
drops
do
of
it,
Shave
and they're probably
Secret
going to mute him
into
when they're
a
not
wet
supposed to.
palm.
Remember, they're
Massage
only
it to your
supposed to
skin,
mute them during the
have the best
2-minute
shave of your life.
uninterrupted
Trust me
portions.
when I tell you, this
So
is
if they
quality
mute
at its
Trump
finest. I use Shave
at
Secret.
any other
I
time,
love it. Shave Secret works
I'm telling
great
you
for
what,
women,
I am
too.
going to
The best
throw a
part, each bottle
fit.
is less than $7. So improve your skin, smell great, save money, enjoy shaving. What else do you want to hear? Please order Shave Secret today.
I will
Available
look
through
into
Amazon,
Odyssey. Matter of
Walmart,
fact, I'll pull up a tab right
shavesecret.com.
now,
And if
and
you order
I'll
directly,
look into
use
it.
discount code BILL. Shavesecret.com, discount code BILL.
Trump Biden, the final presidential
Interesting.
debate coming
So,
up at 9 p.m.
what is the
Eastern,
benefits
right here on
of
the
Odyssey
First.
then? So it's another video
Hey guys,
platform,
Buck Sexton here.
another
If you love watching my show
kind
on the
of
First
offshoot
TV,
of
then make
a
sure you
YouTube,
stay
per se.
connected with us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Parler. You can even watch us on YouTube. Stay connected and stay informed with First TV anywhere and everywhere. We'll see you there.
We don't need to listen to these commercials here.
Don't have the First TV.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, I see it, and it looks familiar. I think I've seen it before. I've definitely seen at least their icons and whatnot. So, I will absolutely check it out and see what I can see what I find out about it. But if it's anything, if their TOS is any more friendly than YouTube's, then hey, I'm all about it, because freedom of speech is under attack in our country today. Yesterday, and going forward. And some of these terms of service agreements are getting, how can I put it, tyrannical at best. It definitely tyrannical. Checking. Oh, I did not see this. Aha. Ladies and gentlemen, I am seeing here that President Trump is planning to bring Hunter Biden associate Tony Bobulinski, is that how you say his name? Bobulinski, as a guest to the debate tonight. That, I would say, is big news. That right there is huge news. So he's the one that recently came out and spoke up and said that he saw Hunter Biden doing business deals with Biden. And so Trump is bringing him as a guest to the debate. Yes, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Okay. That is big. Let's see here. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up while we're waiting here. Let's go to the live scene. President Trump plans to bring Hunter Biden associate Tony, how do you say that? Bobulinski? I really don't know how to say that one. That one could be said a lot of different ways. But as a guest to the debate. While Joe Biden claims he never talked business with his son. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know what Biden's plan is going to be. Biden's plan is going to be deny, lie, and dumb people are going to believe it. So President Trump brought former Hunter Biden associate Tony Bobulinski as his guest to the final presidential debate Thursday night. It's funny that they say it almost like it's past tense. Like, I guess this is meant to be an article that people read after the debate. Bobulinski is a retired lieutenant in the U.S. Navy and the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings, which he explained was a partnership between the Chinese 2014 through the CEFC chairman. Anyways, Biden and James Galar and on Thursday released emails and text messages that appear to show Joe Biden's involvement with his son's foreign business dealings. And Walensky came out and said that he personally witnessed it. So he's going to be at the debate. And you can guarantee he's going to be walking around the spin room afterwards, letting people know what he saw. You know, with all the censorship and stuff that's been going on, they've been trying to really quiet down the whole emails that were found on that laptop. And I did read that Giuliani has turned the laptop over to authorities. Not the FBI, though. He turned it over to local authorities. So it could potentially be... I don't know. I'm sure they've got copies of it and they've got pretty much everything they need out of it, but we will see. But, you know, Twitter and everybody's been censoring the story and quieting down because, you know, they don't want anyone to see it before the election. They don't want people to know that Biden is a dirty dog. And he is a dirty dog. I mean, he's one of the dirtiest. He is like the definition of the swamp. Him and Hillary, you put them in one little bowl and you've got yourself quite the swampy meal. So yeah, that I would say is breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. So, and we right now with the debate are T-minus 22 minutes by my clock. So we could call that.
It's about the president they're covering. So
Bernie Goldberg on
people
RSBN
like certain
right now.
things, and they like CNN. Very few, but those who watch like what they're getting on CNN, and those who watch MSNBC like what they're watching there, and they'll continue to watch, I believe.
You can get the
Could be wrong.
cryptocurrency
You're gonna have to buy me
LBRY for
a big
uploading
dinner.
and watching
And
on
I'll tell you,
Odyssey.
this
So every
is the
time you
other
upload a
factor.
video to
So
YouTube, it will go
this
there
is in
also and get
everybody's
you some
hand.
bits.
And if you don't
Oh wow,
stimulate
that is kind of cool. So
the,
basically, it's a cryptocurrency based
audience on
on
television. Look what
social
happened to the
media,
entertainment
a
portion
video
of that.
platform, anyways.
Does anybody watch
So the
any
more
of
you
these
watch, the
primetime
more you
shows anymore?
post.
Dancing with the
That's how you mine
Psychopaths
for that
The
cryptocurrency.
Great Race from
It's interesting.
Lithuania.
It's an interesting
Nobody
concept.
watches them, okay? Because they
Catfish
have
has like
other
50 cents
entertainment in
now.
their
He's a
hand.
baller. Hey, if
where
it
they can
takes
do
off in
whatever
the
they
future,
wanna do
man,
there.
I still
And that
kick
is a
myself. When I was back in high school, I had the
tremendous
opportunity
way.
to buy
The reason they're on
Bitcoin when
the
it first
news
came out
channels now is
for
because
very,
of the
very,
race.
very cheap.
Because
And I'm
it's
pretty mad at
exciting.
myself
Who's
that
gonna
I did
win?
not
You
do
know,
that.
And they're polarized, and there's different tribes.
A
But when
couple of my
that
good
goes away,
friends
Bernie,
are very
they've
well
got
off
more
today because of
entertainment in their
that.
hand than they're going to have
We
on
were in the
TV.
computer
Last
club. We were one of the first
word about
schools
this,
in
and
our
then I've got
district to
another
actually
question.
get the internet.
My only point is that it
and,
won't go
it was
away
my
because
buddies that
they'll
were
have
running all
something to
that.
be annoyed about. Viewers of cable TV in primetime love to be angry. They love to be annoyed.
No, I
They'll
got
either
it.
be
Oh,
they'll be annoyed
really?
by-
It's not
So
gonna be
he
the
turned it
volume
over
of
to
people
state,
that you have now.
the state
So,
AG, and they turned it
you
over
wrote
to the
the column,
local
you wrote a
FBI
very
office.
interesting column.
So it
Everybody
ended
should
up in the
go
FBI's
and read
hands
this column
after
up
all.
on
I don't know,
Goldberg.com.
guys.
That
I
you
don't
actually
really
think
trust
that
the FBI
media,
one
the
bit.
corporate media is now a threat to our democracy.
I just
give me
don't.
in 60
After everything
seconds
that we've
that
seen
threat.
going on, I do not trust the
Yeah,
FBI.
here's why. Donald Trump is.
I think we have
liberals and
plenty of
progressives
reason
are
not
always saying
to.
Donald
I
Trump
think
is
it's
a
been
threat to
getting
democracy.
better, but I
Donald
don't
Trump has
trust
a big
them.
mouth.
But
He
you
says stupid
can
things, in my
guarantee
view,
that Rudy
but he
Giuliani
doesn't
has
do
a
anything that's a
wonderful.
threat to democracy. Donald Trump and
Oh,
elect
Bernie,
Joe
I think
Biden.
you lost your
That's
you lost
danger.
your signal
That's
there
a
for a
real
second.
danger
Do we know who the
to a
other guests
democracy.
are
That's not
coming
just
to the
words.
debate?
They're doing
sure
something that is endangering
Biden's
democracy.
probably trying to bring
Because in a
somebody. Like, who's he going to
democracy,
bring? Like
you
Stormy
have to have a
Daniels or something?
mainstream media that you can trust. We don't trust the mainstream media anymore.
No, and all the surveys show that. And I'm going to throw one more thing in. The New York Times and the Washington Post want to run this country. They want to
Right.
run it, all right? And they will run it
Hunter
if Joe Biden
Biden.
is elected president.
Going
because
through-
he will
going
do
through headlines here.
Exactly what they tell him
And,
to do in their editorials and in their phone calls. So
10 seconds.
Go ahead.
And you know,
Yeah,
and you
I
know
mean,
this
basically
as well
the
as I do.
breaking
We were
news
both
is
network
that
correspondents.
who Trump is
The
bringing to the
networks,
debate.
ABC, NBC, and CBS, take their cues from the
Biden's
New York
guest.
Times.
Absolutely.
So if the New York Times
He's
wants to
bringing
get
a
rid of
couple
somebody or
restaurant
wants to
owners,
shut down
apparently,
free speech or wants to not cover certain stories
Durham.
because it hurts somebody they like, ABC, NBC, and CBS will follow suit.
Yeah,
They'll just
absolutely.
party.
That's
because
what
now-
got. That's
So
what got
apparently, yeah,
Trump.
he's bringing a
That's
couple
what got
restaurant
Trump so mad
owners.
at
A
us.
couple are
As
guests
we will
of
see.
Democratic presidential candidate
Goldberg,
Joe
everybody, check out
Biden.
his
Their
website.
restaurant,
Appreciate it.
Zweli's
We'll talk
Kitchen and Catering, is believed to be the only
Trump
Zimbabwean
Biden, the
restaurant
final
in the
presidential
country.
debate, coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right
I don't
here
know
on The
why
First.
you would give up your guest spot for the debate for that. I mean, I feel like you could have used it a little bit better.
Hey everyone, it's Madison Jessiato.
But okay.
You know, it's so disappointing that we continue to
that's
witness
who
the
Biden's
double
bringing.
standard in the media when it comes to the coverage of the Biden family versus the Trump family, of Democrats in general.
Yeah,
versus
from what I
the Trump
understood, it
family.
was
with
that
Hunter
the-
Biden, we all know what
in
Twitter
terms of the
did, and
laptop,
intentionally
from what I
misrepresenting
understand,
the story,
the
refusing
gentleman-
to allow it to be
Hey.
seen by users of the social media app.
Turn this down a little bit.
By shutting down accounts.
From what I understand,
Of course, the Democrats and the Bidens are
the computer repair store owner received the laptop. In the closet said something like, if you left it there for more than 90 days, it became property of the owner of the store. He waited a few more months after that, and then after all that was said and done, he went ahead and decided to do a forensic analysis on the computer, and he was able to recover a bunch of stuff. At that point, the first person he contacted, from what I understand, was the FBI, and he gave a copy of the hard drive to the FBI, and the FBI did nothing. They did absolutely nothing. You know, so after seeing everything in the news and whatnot, he then reached out and was able, through contacts, to get the hard drive to Rudy Giuliani, who's been able to get it out there.
To be held to a
So,
different standard than you or I would be, because I guarantee you, if you or I did what Hunter Biden did,
Yeah,
not be
and then
walking
Rudy
around like
Giuliani
Hunter
does
Biden
what
has been
Rudy
walking
does,
around.
and he
Or
gets the
honestly,
news
we
out
probably
there.
wouldn't
So
have the
if you guys
opportunity
missed
to do what
Rudy
he did.
Giuliani
Because,
on
of course, he was
Louder with
leveraging
Crowder,
his father's position as vice president of the
it
United
was pretty
States to do
funny
this, to make
and
this
pretty
happen.
informative as
And of
well.
course,
You
the
should
question
check that out.
remains, how much of this went to
What do we
Joe
got
Biden
here?
himself? We can't
Let's
stop
see.
asking these questions. This is extremely important. It's unacceptable, and you can't let the media's
Yeah,
refusal
yeah,
to
that's
accurately
what I
cover
was
this
talking
stop
about,
you
Vince.
From asking the right questions and asking the tough questions, and not stopping until we get the answers we deserve.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't say anything in here that Trump's going to close their restaurants down. I think it's more so that Biden's just trying to act like he's not the racist that he is by bringing Zweli Kitchen owners,
So a Gallup poll,
which
they don't
is
give
the
out
only
methodology,
Zimbabwean restaurant in the country. So I
should.
think he's like trying to be diverse
Asked,
by doing it or
would
something.
you like to see
I don't know.
Coney Barrett on a Supreme Court? 51% say yes, 46% say no. She will be confirmed on Monday. We'll have Brett Tallman on.
Yeah, I don't see.
We'll be on that story. The New York Times.
Okay, so it says the Biden campaign has invited the Zweli owners
bored with beating them up.
as an example of business owners who have been impacted by COVID-19.
Independent, other, whatever that means. And they
Because at the beginning of the pandemic, they lost dozens of catering jobs and 80% of their total business. I don't know why they're still trying to slam this whole corona thing home and trying to blame Trump like he created the virus himself. If you are out there and you honestly believe that Joe Biden
probably Susan Collins
would have done a better job than Donald Trump when he was out there screaming that Trump was xenophobic, and you guys have heard it a million times. I don't have to keep saying it.
I'm sorry.
We know exactly what Biden would have done. They want to criticize the president and tell him that he is incorrect for shutting the country down.
If the
But they were all yelling at him later on that he should have done more. And they want him. It's all the Democratic cities that are doing all the shutdowns.
They negotiate this almost week by week.
So
and tell you what to do.
I don't. It's all hypocritical.
So those of you, if you can get
Now they don't have anything else. You guys have to understand, and I'm sure you know. You don't have to understand. I'm sure you know.
Law enforcement,
Trump is the most investigated man on this planet. I don't think there's ever been another human on this planet that has been investigated more than Trump. And think about it. What have you found? They have looked at everything. They have dug into crevices on Trump that have never seen light.
Socialist Marxists running the
And they haven't found anything.
Minneapolis residents are suing the city for
that right there is telling.
Okay.
Also, did you guys see that
freaking
freaking Ukraine? Was it Ukraine or no, Iran? It was Iran. Apparently, like, did a Fox Proud Boy like letter, like apparently they were sending letters or emails or something out to Democrats acting like Proud Boys, saying that if they didn't vote for Republicans up and down the ticket that they were going to come after them or something. I'm like, what?
From the very beginning,
but anyways,
very stringent about COVID.
Not the best. Not the best.
Couldn't get in. Closed down everything, the pubs, the hotels, everybody wore a mask.
Wait, what, JF? Are you kidding me? Can you post that link in the Discord?
They did everything. They listened to this.
There's a JS says that there's a website that people can use to find addresses on a map of Trump donors.
10%.
Well, if that's the case, I'm on that map because I have definitely donated to the campaign. That is crazy, Jay.
And 150,000 Irish are going to lose jobs. And this.
Andazan, what's good, brother? Good to see you in the chat.
For my.
What are our likes up to, Andazan?
Right, it's a beautiful country.
Earlier said 700. Andazan posted a picture of us in Reno that we took with BCP, Black Conservative Patriot. Or I always call him Black Conservative Patriot. Black Conservative Preacher. He is a patriot, though. Check him out. Subscribe. He's a good man. He's a great man. But he posted that picture, and it's got over on a Facebook group, and I'm having a brain fart here on which group it was. But yeah, Anderson will tell you, I'm sure. But it was like up to like 700 and something likes already. I was like, holy cow. JS says it's bad.
Stop insulting.
You're on it.
All right, that's how I.
Has your full name and your address. Yo, that's not good. That's like some
the final presidential debate
almost like Nazi type stuff. Donald Trump .watch.
If you love watching my show on the First TV, then make sure you stay connected.
704 likes.
You can follow us on Facebook,
shout out
Instagram, Twitter,
shout out
Parler.
yes, there you go. CopsNorthwest.com and Cops Northwest on Facebook. He posted that picture and we watched it explode with the likes. So.
Don't have the First TV
pretty neat.
What are you waiting for? Download it and
pretty dang neat.
To Bill O'Reilly, Lash, Jesse Kelly, Buck Sexton, and
what the
Mike
heck?
Slater on your phone, tablet, or smart TV. The best
Why does it say
part,
message
it's absolutely
retracted?
free.
Oh.
Programs live or on demand, anywhere,
But you're
anytime.
you had to have
Download
deleted that
and
yourself,
download the First
Andazan.
TV
There's
app
no
right
way
now.
that
Roku,
Streamlabs got
Amazon
that. You're a
Fire,
mod.
Android, iOS, and Apple TV. Just search the First TV in your favorite app store and start watching today. Stay informed.
Yeah.
Stay
No,
connected. Download the First TV app
Anyways.
right now. It's free.
CopsNorthwest.com. Also, Andazant, if you have not gone over to his YouTube channel and subscribe, make sure to do that. And also check out Garden of Eden Community Project with Vince. Make sure to give him some likes, subscribe to everyone, and make sure to support Patriot streamers. A lot of fakes out there today. You want to make sure to
Looking for a
make
new
sure to
flash you
only
want to read? We've got you
sub
covered.
to
Sign up
and
for the
support
Up First
Patriot
newsletter
streamers, not the
from
fake
First.
guys that
Every
don't
morning we
deserve
deliver these essential headlines and prepare you for what
your support.
everyone will be talking about.
And his aunt, you see the I'm not glitching anymore? You see this?
The liberal mainstream media spin.
Huh?
Don't wait. Sign up for the Up First newsletter
What do you think?
right now at thefirsttv.com.
Thinking it's looking pretty dope. We got a couple new things too. Check this. I'm sitting here talking to a muted mic. My bad.
Reported. So the folks are going to just have to make their determination. Joe Biden's not going to stop that.
Where are you getting all
Linda,
that stuff
I hope
from?
Donald Trump does not say the same tired line.
I did mute
We have
myself.
the greatest economy, and
I didn't
stopped
want
trying
to,
when Fauci said no in the debate
I
on
suppose
Thursday
the
night. He
proper
needs
way
freshen it up.
to have done that would have been, yeah, never mind. I'm a noob. I am a noob, but we are growing quick. I am very pleased with how we are growing. Guys, we are T-minus 8 minutes for the debate. This is happening fast. Who wins the debate tonight, guys?
Biden on Thursday, giving what happened with Savannah Guthrie on the town hall. No, he has to. Trump has to win. He has to articulate his vision in a very authoritative, mature way. What he has to do. He has to debate. Jim Kirkpatrick, Arlington, Texas. How come all the moderators for the debates are always
You already know
liberals?
I got you,
Because there
Anderson.
are no
I got you.
non-liberals.
I got you.
And the network
Anything
news
you need or
hierarchy.
want, I'm there to help.
Look, Bernie and I worked at CBS at the same time. Bernie was much more successful at CBS News than I was. And I wasn't an ideologue. I
I'm gonna make
just
sure that
reported
we've got
the
a
news, and so did
backup
he.
stream
We were
here
correspondents.
going
We didn't
just in
inject personal
case.
opinion. But back then, nobody even knew what my politics were. I don't know if they knew who Goldberg's were. But it wasn't an issue. We just reported the
We
news.
should be
we
good for
knew
this debate. I'm excited.
Dan
I think
Rather
Trump's
was
gonna.
left
I
wing.
think
We
Trump
knew it.
knows it's showtime, and this is his last
And sometimes
opportunity
they
to
mess
appeal.
with scripts.
I think he's gonna hit
rather
him
people,
hard.
But, you know, it wasn't a litmus test like there is now. If you go in for an interview for a job at ABC, NBC, and CBS, people interviewing are very liberal people, and they're going to hire
This
people
drunken
who
history.
fit in.
Oh, make sure you subscribe to that one girl over there
As I
on
wrote
that
in my
platform
column this
called
week. Please
Twitch.
read it. Please read that.
If you're on
column.
Twitch, go check out that
Brian
one
at
girl.
Mesa
She
Brink,
does
Neptune, Florida.
all kinds of
With all the
stuff.
hate Trump
If you like
media, they hate
laughing,
Trump. The
you will
underdog,
like
don't they
that
know
one
Americans
girl.
love an
Make
underdog?
sure
There's a
to get on
backlash
over to her
that's
channel
helping Donald Trump. I think we see
if
that.
you're on Twitch and
Donald
add
Trump.
her.
No doubt.
If you like
Stephen
feet,
Stewart, Iowa
you're gonna
City,
like that
Iowa.
one
I have
girl.
every book you've written, Bill.
If you like
This includes
video
the full
games, you're
killing
gonna like that
series.
one
When
girl.
I upgraded
Go
membership
check
to
her out.
Concierge,
She is
I got all
hilarious.
9 killing books as a gift.
I was
My
in her chat
mother's
all last night,
95 years
and
old.
it was.
I
it
gave
was
her the
funny.
books, and she read them all.
It was
Excellent.
It kept
Look
me
at that,
entertained
Steve.
while I was working on
Mother,
putting things together
95,
for the
reading all
stream.
the killing books. And that's what I'm saying. If you become a lifetime concierge, remember, you get all the books. All the 9.
I'm gonna
You
pull
can
up a
name what you
couple
want.
other
Make people happy.
backup
And then
streams just
gifts,
in case. You
pay for
just never
membership.
know. So is it
Harvey
MSNBC?
Kemper,
Well, no. It
Bella
looks like
Vista, Arkansas.
doesn't look
Thank
like
you,
anybody
and Martin
owns the
Dugard,
rights
for killing
to this
Crazy
debate. Like the
Horse.
last
The
one, or at least the
historical
vice
detail is
presidential debate seemed to be owned
And
by
revealing as to how
NBC.
America treated
But
Native
I'm showing
Americans.
CNN
Be
showing this one,
encouraging. I'll be
MSNBC,
encouraging folks to
ABC,
read the book.
Of course, when you
Word
search
of
on
mouth, Killing
YouTube,
Crazy Horse, great book.
you don't see the ones from
Go to
Fox.
Amazon,
You don't see the ones
93% say
from
it's an excellent
Right
book.
Side
Good
Broadcasting,
reviews.
OAN.
So, Killing Crazy Horse.
Those are all shadow banned. No.
We have a bunch
ABC,
of concierge
CNN,
members
MSNBC.
writing,
Those are the
to
ones
tell
that
you
pop
why
up. It says there's 7
concierge membership is
more.
excellent. We
If you
posted
click
some
on
of
it,
those on
you get
BillO'Reilly.com.
Washington
If you're
Post,
thinking about
and then
upgrading from
Fox
premium
News.
into concierge, get direct access to me, and I can help you.
And then Fox News.
And I will.
So I think we'll queue up the
Concierge
Fox
membership.
News
Writing
one
to us, do not be a
just in case.
COMB. And how about the mats for Christmas? This is probably the best
here we
Christmas
go.
gift ever. Stand up for your country. Mats. Put them outside in front of your door. Put them in a window. Put them everywhere. They really are sharp. This is not a political statement. This is a statement.
We're going to go ahead and keep this one queued up, but at the same time, it looks like Fox News is already got the debate stage. Day Waste, what's good, brother man? Good to see you in the chat. You ready for the debate, my man? Looks like we've got the stage set up here. Looks like they're getting ready to throw down.
Here for this evening's debate is Kristen Welker of NBC News.
Here we go. We're T-minus
Good
3
evening,
minutes. It has
everyone.
begun.
Good evening. Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor for me to moderate this debate tonight, the final debate. I want to welcome the First Family and the First Lady. We're so glad and thankful that you are feeling better. I want to welcome the Biden family, Dr. Jill Biden.
God.
Thank you
We're
all
so
for
glad you
being
guys are
here
feeling
tonight.
better about
We are
COVID.
so
You
excited.
gotta be
We're
kidding
looking
me.
forward to a really robust discussion. And the only thing I would reiterate are the CPD guidelines that when the candidates are talking, please
It's
hold
frustrating.
any applause or any other reactions, except of course when they walk out. Make sure you cheer and loud and applause so that everyone can hear you. Thank you for having me. This is really the honor of a lifetime. I am gonna sit down and just get organized and get settled, and the show will start very soon. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Trump ain't gonna follow your guidelines anyways. T-minus 2 minutes. My phone's gonna be going nuts, so I better turn these notifications off. Jay, yeah, that would be epic. Jay, yeah, please tell me wherever you're watching, you've got yourself your cardboard cutout of Trump. Dude, I want one of those so bad. You should send me the link of where you got that. I want one. I will stick a cardboard cutout of Trump right back here. Although, I mean, this isn't bad. You know, yeah, it's not bad. What's up, Doc? Oh, you know what, Jay? I think I might have just came up. Donation. Wait, what? Be right back. Coffee right on. Day Waste, if you want to do a donation, you need to go to SEALTeam711.com. And you can do your donations there. And matter of fact, I have upgraded all of the donation settings. So depending on your donation level, we've got all new graphics and sounds that will pop up. Yes, if you haven't already hit that thumbs up, I would much appreciate that. But anyone who would like to interact with the stream further, SEALTeam711.com. That's SEALTeam711.com. And you can find things there as well, kind of your SEAL Team 711 merch, hoodies. You can't really see that well. Gotcha, Dayways. Yeah, I've got to get my Nightbot up and running here. I spent a lot of time last night doing some other crazy stuff. For example, ladies and gentlemen, this debate is about to go down. Breaking news. It is 6 o'clock. It is time. Let's get ready to rumble. We've got a few things. We got a few things here and there we've been working on. SEAL Team Gang, stand up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've done a lot. We've done a lot of work recently. Hey, it's 6:02. Where are these candidates at? Why are they not out on the stage yet? Am I missing something here? We are live, so I think they're just a little late. Any moment now. Is that a seal? An otter? What is that? Closest to a seal. We need to figure out how to get a seal. Damn right, we need to get some seals. But the otters work. We're just going to call that otter the seal. That's what we're going to do. Absolutely. Agenda analyst, great to see you in the chat. Yeah, somebody forgot to pull the cap off of the Adderall needle over on the Biden camp. So they're finding a couple people who know how to take the cap off of the needle. We do need a seal. Absolutely, we do. We also need these guys to come out and rumble. And they're already sitting there. You've already got all your people up front. You know how they said social distancing was part of the new rules? There's 3 people sitting right together up front. Oh, here we go. Let's go.
Good evening from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Commission's health security advisor. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now, as we welcome to the stage former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump.
Watch for them to mute Trump outside of the 2-minute uninterrupted time. Oh, there's Biden with this mask, taking it off right as he walked out. He probably put it on right before he came out, too. Did Biden forget that he was supposed to stand on the outside of the podium?
And I do want to say a very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question.
Boo.
The debate commission will then turn on their
Boo,
microphone
Biden. Cheer, Mr. President. I just saw him a couple days ago. Holy shit. That really happened.
After that, both microphones will remain on. But on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee.
Here we go.
And since
Corona,
the two of you
corona.
last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. It's a worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas.
Yeah, you can tell Trump.
There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. And there are some spikes and surges in other places.
On
they
his
will
answers.
Soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital. I had it, and I got better. And I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure. But I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight. And now they say I'm immune. Whether it's 4 months or a lifetime, nobody's been able to say that, but I'm immune. More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide problem. This is a worldwide problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks and gowns and everything else, and in particular ventilators. We're now making ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month, distributing them all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
Okay, former Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
Oh, God.
We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, and there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead.
That is so wrong. Down the national debt. Wrong.
President's advisors have told them we could save 100,000 lives. And we're in a circumstance where the president thus far and still has no plan, no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone.
Look at his eyes; they're all glossed over.
All the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe and give them the wherewithal.
So now he's the open up the country candidate, guys. Check it out.
Now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this.
Wrong.
I will make sure we have a plan.
Wrong.
President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you
He's a
in your
pussy.
comments. You talked about taking a therapeutic. I assume you're referencing Regeneron. You also said a vaccine will be coming within weeks.
Yes.
Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well. And we have numerous others. Then we also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you, and because this is new information, you have said a vaccine is coming soon, within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular, that's the head of logistics. And this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine. And we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the science.
Oh, it's transparent. See-through, guys.
Know it. Look at it. Go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time.
Sit down.
This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter.
He's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
That there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you have no plan.
I don't think we're going to have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu.
Joe probably thinks that's secure to smell your kids.
Lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers,
we've got quite the Trump soundboard here.
700,000 people would be dead right now. But it was a far less lethal disease.
Wait till you see the donation stuff that I put together.
Ran that for him.
There's some nutty
was
ones.
his, chief of staff.
Chalupa, welcome to the chat, brother.
It was catastrophic.
Glad to see you.
It was horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your response.
My response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down
He's a
access
pussy.
from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him.
No, they haven't asked
then what
anything new,
happened was we
Chalupa.
started talking about
Same
using the
stuff.
Defense
They're on
Act
Corona
to
still.
make sure we go out and get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital.
She's killed hundreds of thousands of people with her stupidity.
It's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump, your reaction?
I say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement or in a beautiful room in the White House and go away for a year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that. And Kirsten, every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military families, every meeting I had, and I had to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous. And you catch it. And, I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals. And now I recovered. 99.9% of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy.
He's debating her too, guys.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please, and then I have a question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight.
He's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
It's gone. Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it because he has never said, he said it's dangerous. When's the last time? Is it really dangerous still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they do about the danger? And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full
You have to
responsibility.
speak English.
It's not my fault that he came here. It's
You
China's
have to
fault.
speak
And you know what?
English.
It's not Joe's fault that he came here either. It's
What is that,
China's
Jay?
fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President Biden.
The fact is that when we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said that, but a lot of people thought it was serious.
It's political
The
bullshit.
president has said, even today, he thinks we are in control. We're about to lose 200,000 more people.
President Trump.
It's a piece of garbage. Perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even, and because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You
I didn't
certainly
say
Oh, he's a
either of
liar.
those things,
You certainly
and
did.
I talked about his xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different
Bullshit.
strategies.
We all
to
know
handle
he's
it.
full of
I
shit.
shouldn't have
That's
closed
bullshit.
the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
Is that? Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President
No.
Biden? Okay.
Yeah, of
Let's
course
talk
he
about
doesn't
your
want to
different
respond to that.
Strategies toward dealing with this, Mr. Vice President. You suggested you would support new shutdowns if scientists recommended it. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down.
Andale, you're the only one that
large
seems
part.
to be saying
Why
that. I don't know why
businesses
you'd be
gone
getting
under, why
disconnected
schools are
from
closed,
chat.
why
That's
so many
strange.
people have lost their living, and why they're concerned. Those other concerns are real. That's why he should have been, instead of in a sand trap in a golf course, he should have
I'm
been
not seeing anything
negotiating
popping up
with
on my
Nancy
end.
Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about what to do about the acts they were passing for billions of
If it
dollars.
was a
to
bot
make sure
thing
people
or a
had
mod thing, I
capacity.
would see it.
You haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Well, no, I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look, you need standards. The standard is if you have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level.
She's only a
everybody
little
says,
swampy,
slow
guys.
up.
Only a little bit.
More social distancing.
She's doing a
Do
pretty
not
okay
open
job.
Bars and do not open gymnasiums. Do not open until you get this under control, under more control. But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to
You know
go.
what?
They
I
need
just
to
saw it
deal
now
with
too. It
ventilation
says
systems.
chat
They need to deal with
disconnected. Please
smaller
wait while we try to
classes, more
reconnect you.
teachers, more
Successfully
pods.
reconnected.
And
That's strange.
refuse
It
to
seems to
support
just
that
like
money, or
pop
at least
out,
up
pop
to
back
now.
in.
Let's
But you're
talk
not
about
missing
schools.
anything.
President
I don't know why the
Trump,
notification's doing that.
If I might.
Please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight, and they're dying. They're dying. And he
You're right,
supports
J.O.
all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we
He's
have
a
to
pussy.
open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but I want to open the schools. We have to open our country. We're not going to have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide.
Trump should run
There's
over there and
depression,
freaking grab
alcohol, drugs
freaking
at a
Biden
level
by
that
his
nobody's
pussy.
ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to open our country. You know, I've said it often. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And that's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if one person in our massive bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your
Simply
response.
not true.
Bing,
We ought to be able
bing,
to walk
bong,
and chew
bong,
gum
bing,
at the
bing,
same
bing.
time. We ought to be able to safely open, but when they need resources to open. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that what we're going to make sure that we can open safely. And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it.
Oh,
So don't worry about it. Come on.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I will say this. If you go and look at what's happened to New York, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses.
Hey,
that are
Vince,
dying,
I
Jay. You
appreciate
can't do
that.
to
Sometimes it
people.
takes a little bit for it to
can't.
update.
Take a look at New York and what's happened to my
You also have to make sure
wonderful
that
city for
you have
so
your
many years. I loved it. It was vibrant.
your
It's dying.
subscriptions
Everyone's
public.
leaving New York.
If not, it won't
Take a
pop
look
up.
at what New York has done in terms of turning the curve
I appreciate
down
you
in
subbing,
terms of
though.
the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in
Much
terms
love.
of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring
Politicians
significantly.
are all
But they're
talk,
all
no
Americans.
action.
They're all Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need that has money's already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
President, New York has lost more than 40,000 people, 11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
when
about-
you say spike, take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now,
Yes,
it
I
just
gave you a
ruled
shout out a little bit ago,
unconstitutional.
Vince.
Take a look at
But if
North
you haven't checked
Carolina.
out
They're
the
having spikes,
Garden of
and
Eden
they've been
Community
closed,
Project, make sure to
and
go
they're
check
getting
out Vince over
killed
there. Does a
financially.
good morning
We
show.
can't let that
Check him out.
happen, Joe. You can't let that happen. We have to open up. And we understand the disease. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems. And we will protect them. We have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up
It's a
with you
joke.
before we move on to our next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as,
pussy.
quote, idiots. If you're not listening to them, who are you listening to as you
Let me-
fight this?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony. But he did say, don't wear masks. He did say, as you know, this is not going to be a problem. I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. He said, this is not going to be a problem. We are not going to have a problem at all. When Joe says that, I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks.
Chalupa, you're
Anthony
right.
also said, if you look back, exact words, here's his exact words. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So he's allowed to make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
My response is that think about what the president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told
It's the
this
same
was
thing,
a
guys.
serious
Are we watching the
virus
first
spreading
debate all
in the
over
air,
again?
And it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was. He didn't want to tell us. He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us. Americans don't panic. He panicked. But
She's
guess
killed
what?
hundreds of
In the meantime, we
thousands
found
of
out in the New
people
York Times the other
with
day
her
that, in fact,
stupidity.
his folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really dangerous thing, and a memo out of that meeting, not from his administration, but from some of the brokers, said sell short because we got to get moving.
The dude,
It's a
welcome to the
dangerous
chat,
policy.
brother.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then we're
The
going
Wall
to
Street
move
one,
on.
I don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it.
I
Joe,
haven't.
you have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe. I could raise so much more money. As president and as somebody that knows most of those people, I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company
really
in America.
rich.
I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that, like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money. In fact, we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was able to.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to move on.
Oh, she interrupts him. She interrupted him.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is national security. And I do want to start with the security of our elections and some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence this election. Both countries have obtained U.S. voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do to put an end to this threat? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
I made it clear.
We
and I asked
will
everyone
make
else to take the
America
pledge. I made it
great
clear that
again.
Any country, no matter who it is, that interferes
Hey,
in
the
election
dude.
will
Thank
pay
you
a
for
price.
subbing.
They will
Much
pay a
appreciated.
price. It's been overwhelmingly clear this election, I won't even get into the last one, this election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved. They will pay a price if I'm elected. They're interfering with American sovereignty. That's what's going on right now. They're interfering with American sovereignty. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Putin about it. I don't think he's stalking them a lot. I don't think he said a
So
word.
far,
I don't know why he
in
hasn't
case
said
you're
a
just
word
chiming
about
in,
it. And I don't
we've
know
talked
what he
about
has
Corona
recently said,
and
if anything,
Putin.
to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign companies,
Yeah, Vince, you're right.
trying to
We ever
interfere
going to
in
talk about
our
anything that
election.
actually matters
His
to the rest
own
of
national
us.
security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens?
What?
Nothing happens. And
Oh,
then
he's
you
starting
find
to
out
glitch,
that
guys.
Everything is going on here.
The Adderall is
Russia
wearing off.
wanting
They
to
might
make
have given
sure
it to him a
that
little bit too
I
soon.
do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan.
That was proven
when he's
false.
engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question. Why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you.
Have to
Let
respond.
me ask the
Yes.
question. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries.
Yeah,
What
Biden
would you
bot's
do in
glitching,
your
and he's like,
next term to put an end to this. 2 minutes
Well,
uninterrupted.
let me respond to the first part as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because
Here
he
we
was
go.
very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's
Come on,
wife.
interrupt him,
And
Biden.
You got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million, and someday you're going to have to explain why did you get 3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John Ratcliffe, who is fantastic, DNI, he said the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose because there has been nobody tougher to Russia between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, I've got the
That's
NATO
hilarious.
countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. Nobody
while he was selling pillows and sheets. Hashtag Sleepy Joe Biden, by the way.
And I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port. You remember that very well. During your term, during you and Barack Obama, they took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine. You handed it to them. But you were getting a lot of money from Russia. They were paying you a lot of money, and they probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in.
There we go. Hit them.
And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening, and it should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Vice President Biden, you may respond. And then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life.
Wrong.
We learned that this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever.
You're fired.
Number two, this is a president, I have released all of my tax returns, 22 years, go look at them, 22 years of my tax returns. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling? The foreign countries are paying you.
You realize that he's not even talking about what Trump just brought up. More taxes, stuff that we've all heard. He is dodging the question, folks.
To a new a golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here? Why don't release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it, and it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago, I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax. Tens over the last number of years. Tens of millions of dollars I prepaid because at some point they think it's an estimate. They think I may have to pay tax. So I already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
Ask him about the crack pipe in his son's mouth.
It wasn't written. Whenever they write this, they keep talking about $750, which I think is a filing fee. But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know, maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son
He's
said
the
we
big
have to
man.
give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both some questions about all of this, but I'm going to let you both respond very quickly. You just said you spoke to your accountant about potentially releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them? Do you have a deadline for when you're going to release them
I
to the
get
American
treated
people?
worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made a deal, it was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But
I'm a nobody, and I had an audit that lasted years. You can only imagine if Trump's under audit, that could last how many years?
Prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance to talk about this more broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years you're going to release your taxes. Nobody knows it, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not
Trump
paying
showed restraint
your
there.
taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on, folks.
So,
President Trump, and then I want to get to two questions to both of you.
No, he doesn't know how to game the system. He knows how to use the rules that they put in for the rich people and friends.
It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. no president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just say this. Mueller and 18 angry Democrats and FBI agents all over the place spent $48 million. They went through everything I had, including my tax returns, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong.
Nothing.
$48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent $1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because the kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken, I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China.
You're right, Jay.
For Ukrainian energy
She
company
got
when
bigger
you were vice
cojones than
president.
Wallace.
In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or
She
unethical?
pretty.
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was
Trump
this guy
is bringing that
bribe
thunder. The dude.
Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China. I have not had it. The only guy made money from China is this guy.
China!
The only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
Never
President
to
Trump,
deal with
let me
By the
ask
way,
you a
China
question
all
to
the
you,
time.
and
But could I
then
just
we'll-
one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't
Yeah, I'd touch the
as soon as
hiney
he
too.
became vice president. Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. $183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy.
I'm going to let the Vice President
That's
respond to that quickly,
100%
and then I need to get to a
dishonest.
question to you. Very
Yeah,
quickly.
talk about a
That
quid
everybody
pro quo, the
investigated
dude.
that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay, President Trump, this is for you. Since you took office, you've never divested from your business. You've personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is, everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was opened it was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president and he does business, I then decided to run for president after that. That was before. So I closed it before I even ran for president, let alone became president.
Damn.
Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich.
China.
They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking up
Okay,
money every
President Trump,
place
thank
he
you.
goes.
We do
Not
need to move
true.
on. I do
Go
want to
back to
ask you,
Univision.
Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about
China!
China more broadly. There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I'd make China do is play by the international rules.
China
Not
all
like
the
he has
time.
done. He has caused the deficit in China to go up, not down, with China, up, not down. We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China. It's 51%. We would not do that at all, number one. Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well. When I met with Xi When I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't fly through them. I said, we're going to fly through them. We just flew B-52, B-1 bombers through it. We're not going to pay attention. They have to play by the rules. And what's he do?
We're going to fly B-52 bombers through it? You have to pay attention? What is he talking about?
The Chinese president and Putin and others. And he pokes his finger in the eye of all of our friends, all of our allies. We make up we're 25% of the world's economy. We need to be having the rest of our friends with us saying to China, these are the rules. You play by them or you're going to pay the price for not paying by them economically. That's the way I will run it, and that's what we did in upholding steel tariffs and a range of other things when we were president and vice president.
All right, let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, no, I have to respond to that.
Okay, very quickly, and then we're going to move on to North Korea.
with $1.5 billion from China to manage after spending 10 minutes in office and being in Air Force Two, number one. Number two, there's a very strong email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year for introductions.
President Trump, on China policy, though.
They're trying to get him to stop talking about it.
What specifically are you going to do to make China pay? You've said you're going to make them pay.
China is paying. They're paying billions and billions of dollars. I just gave $28 billion.
Many millions of dollars
to our farmers.
Taxpayers'
China,
money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. Didn't come from
China.
China.
You know who the taxpayer is? It's called China. China paid $28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency, and they also paid up. And you know who got the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything. Also, I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay.
And now we have a steel industry.
Okay, Vice President Biden, your response, please.
My response is, look.
I caught that too, Agenda.
There's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family.
It's
about your family. And your
oh, God.
hurting
Someone
badly.
cue the freaking...
If you're making less than... If you're a middle-class
Sarah
family,
McLachlan
you're
music.
getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making. In the middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont. They're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want to talk about North Korea.
Excuse me,
I do want to turn to
please.
10 seconds, Mr. President.
That's
10
a
seconds.
typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk about North
I'm not a typical
Korea now.
politician.
Okay,
That's why I got elected.
Let's
get off the subject of China. Let's talk sitting around the table.
All right.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about North Korea now. President Trump, you've met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. You've talked about your beautiful letters with him. You've touted the fact that there hasn't been a war or a long-range missile test. And yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship you forged? Just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next one.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House. Right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war, and he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, you know, is 25 miles away, millions and millions, 32 million people in Seoul, millions of people would be dead right now.
President
we
Trump,
don't have
that's
a war,
30
and I have a
seconds.
good
Thank
relationship.
you. Vice President Biden, to you. North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent threat right
Because I'd make it clear, which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's I made it clear, and as a
Bing, bing,
spokesperson
bong,
for the
bong,
administration
bing,
when I
bing,
went to China, that they said, why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do military maneuvers with South Korea? I said, because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. We're going to make sure we can control them and make sure they cannot hurt us. And so if you want to do something about it,
Yeah, I
step up
see
and
him
help.
popping
If
up
not,
too. I don't
it's
know
gonna
what's going on
continue.
there.
What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about
I'm gonna
his
refresh,
good buddy,
see what
who's
happens.
a thug, and he talks about how we're better off, and they have much more capable missiles, able to reach U.S. territory much more easily than ever did before.
Let me follow up with you, Vice President Biden. You've said you wouldn't meet with Kim Jong-un without preconditions. Are there any conditions under which you would meet with him?
On the condition that he would agree that he would be drawing down his nuclear capacity to get the Korean Peninsula should be nuclear-free zone.
All right, let's move on to American families.
They tried.
He's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
Like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay,
I know
got to
for
give him a
fact they
chance to
tried.
respond to that
He
before we
wouldn't
move
do
on.
it.
You
And
know,
that's okay. You know what, North Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people don't understand. Having a good
President
relationship
Trump,
with
we have
leaders
to
of
move
other
on, 'cause
countries
we
is
have a lot
a
of
good thing.
We have a lot of questions to get to.
not
Your
a
Like
response.
saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe.
Oh God, did he just freaking bring up Hitler?
The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said, we're going to talk about denuclearization. We're not going to legitimize you, and we're going to continue to put stronger and stronger sanctions on you. That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
All right,
And
let's
it didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's
Excuse
move on
me.
and talk
He
about
left
American
me a
families.
If I
mess.
did that,
President
Chalupa, I would
Trump?
be
Okay, we
wasted.
need to move
left
on.
me a mess. North Korea was a mess.
We
And in
need to
fact,
move
if
on
you
so that
remember
we
the
can get
first
to all
2 or
of
3
our
months,
questions tonight,
there was a
President
very
Trump.
dangerous period in my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little bit.
Okay.
There was a they left us a mess. And Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country.
Okay, let's move on to American families and
Barack
the economy.
Obama.
One of the issues that's most important to them is health care, as you both know. Today there was a key vote on a new
Yeah,
Supreme Court
I don't
Justice,
know,
Amy
man.
Coney
I
Barrett,
really don't.
And health care is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million
It's
Americans
frustrating.
get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating for the court to overturn it. If the Supreme Court does overturn that law, those 20 million Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do if those people have their health insurance taken away? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance.
Yeah.
I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision. Run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer
you want
is
health
Obamacare,
care,
because without the individual
make
mandate,
sure
it's much
you vote
different.
red up and down
Pre-existing
the ticket.
conditions will always
We
stay.
need the House
What I would like
back.
to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful health care. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time, and I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care, always protecting
He's got
people
40
with
seconds left.
pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important, we have 180 million people out there that have great private health care, far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income
You're right,
people,
Andel.
been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families. Under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine, he won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care, and we're going to do even better.
Okay,
Let me
Vice
respond.
President
We're
Biden,
getting
yes,
rid
this
of
is for you. Your health care
Obamacare
plan
is a
calls for
disaster.
building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option, become Biden care. The public option is an option that
become
says
Biden
that if you,
care.
in fact, do not have the wherewithal.
Did you guys hear that?
if you qualify
Somebody
for
better call
Medicaid,
Obama. Let him know
and you do
Biden
not
plans to
have the
hijack
wherewithal
Obamacare.
in your state to get
It's
Medicaid,
now
you automatically
Biden care.
enroll, providing competition for insurance companies.
How about American
That's what's gonna
care?
happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure
That's
we
what Trump
reduce
wants.
the premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to eliminate private insurance. The reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I didn't. Not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan.
He's a
nor
liar.
Did they under Obamacare? They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions.
English.
None, zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan the same time we get the infrastructure plan that we've been waiting since 17, 18, 19, and 20. The fact, I still have a little...
The man who's been in there for 47 years and done nothing is trying to talk about someone else not doing something.
Terrible handling of the COVID virus and the economic spillover. 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions. And all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President.
Politicians are all talk, no action.
You of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that your health care plan, which includes a government insurance option, takes the country one step closer to a health care system run entirely by the government?
I say it's ridiculous. It's like saying
She hit him
that,
with a decent question, guys.
The idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think health care is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable health care. And I am very proud of my plan. It's gotten endorsed by all the major labor unions as well as...
Of course, because they want to make money.
...of other people who, in fact, are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people...
You know who should be endorsing your plan is the American people.
How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed tonight?
Oh, here we go.
What in God's name you're going to do if you get sick? Because you've lost your home insurance, your health insurance, your company's gone under. We have to provide health insurance for people.
Hitting you with those emotional heartstrings.
Excuse me, he was there for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like you went with fracking. We're not going to have fracking. We're going to stop fracking. We're going to stop fracking. Then he goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania, and he says, oh, we're going to have fracking. And you never asked that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this, I have to say.
By the way.
But somebody should ask the question.
You can ask
he goes for a year. There will be no fracking. There will be no petroleum.
We have a number of topics we're going to get to.
That's a big question.
We're going to get to.
It's the same thing with socialized medicine.
I have to respond.
Vice President, your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal will, in fact, provide for that affordable health care, lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over $750 billion over 10 years to do it. And they're going to have lower premiums. You can buy into the better plans, the cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected billing, and have your drug prices drop significantly. He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for anybody on health care. Not a thing.
Kristen, when he says...
Yes, he did. He got rid of the individual mandate. You're full of it, Biden.
And when he and healthcare, when he talks about a public option, he's talking about destroying your Medicare, totally destroying, and destroying your Social Security. And this whole country will come down. You know, Bernie Sanders tried it in his state. He tried it in his state. His governor was a very liberal governor. They wanted to make it work.
Okay,
Let's
let Vice President Biden respond.
It doesn't
Vice
work.
President
He's
Biden
a very
responds.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all
You're
those
the one
other
who's
people because
confused,
I
Joe Biden.
disagree
You don't
with
even
them.
know that you're running
Joe
for president. You
Biden's
think you're running for
against.
Senate.
And the idea that we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare.
This guy's an
This
idiot.
is the guy that the actuary at Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security, Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023 with no way to make up for it. This is the guy who's tried to cut Medicare. So no, I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is lecturing me on Social Security and Medicare? Come on.
Bing, bing, he tried to get rid of,
seconds,
he
Mr.
tried to
President,
hurt
and then I
Social
have to go to
Security
another
years
question.
ago. Years ago. Go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All
One
right,
thing,
let's move
but
on.
this
I'm
is
going to
the
move
guy
on.
that
Let
when
me,
they announced
Mr. President, I have
last
to move
week,
on to the next question.
They said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
gonna have
will
time to
boom
talk about it.
if I'm elected. If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay, let's
biggest
move on to the
analysts are
next
saying
question
Let me respond.
very quickly.
Look, the idea that the stock market is booming is his only measure of what's happening. Where I come from in Scranton and Claymont, the people don't live off of the stock market. Just in the last three years during this crisis, the billionaires in this country made, according to the Wall Street, $700 billion more dollars. $700 billion more dollars.
What is he even saying?
That's his only measure. What happens to the ordinary people out there? What happens to them?
Let's talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill. We're going to move on,
401ks are through the roof.
We're going to move on.
Stock are through the roof.
All right.
And he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew it.
We're going to move on to
And
the
he
next
left.
question.
And the people of Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to my
that.
next question,
They
gentlemen.
understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work. And as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House, because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President,
The Republican leader in the United States Senate.
She's not interrupting Biden whenever he chimes
Will
in.
not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
let me follow up with you,
down.
Vice President
If we made a
Biden,
deal, the
because
Republicans
let me
will
ask
pass
Vice
it.
President Biden a question. You are the leader of the Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American
Low
Oh,
energy.
I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets and states that have to balance their budgets, so then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they can keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have
Sit
not
down.
done a thing for them. And Mitch McConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt. Come on. What's the matter
The
with
bill
these
that was
guys?
passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these states. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally. We were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love to help them, but what that does, everybody all over the world will start pouring into our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking care of them. This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right,
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. what I see as American, United States.
Nobody
Folks,
believes that.
Every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders.
Oh, yeah, cops,
teachers,
firefighters,
because
first
they have to
responders,
balance
all who
their
endorsed
budget. And
Trump, by the
founders were
way.
Smart. They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum wage.
I do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out, too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got one
So
in six
get
of them
on the
going
phone
under.
with Nancy
They're not gonna
Pelosi
be
and
able to
tell
make
her
it
to
back.
frickin' sign a
Pass
deal
the
for the people and quit trying to
package
put
that
your
allows
liberal
us to
crap
be
in
able
it
to call
and get it across the
PPP.
frickin'
Money's
table.
supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them. It's not giving them
What are
any
you
of the money.
talking about? He won't help them. He
He
wants to open them.
He said we have to help our small businesses by raising the minimum wage. That's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont. Every state is different. It should be a state option.
You said very
we have
recently-
to help. It's very important. We have to help our small businesses.
You
How
said-
are you helping your small businesses when you're forcing wages? What's going to happen, and what's been proven to happen, is when you do that, these small businesses fire many of their employees.
You said very recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Is that still the case?
And I would consider it to an extent, but
In a
what I
second
really
administration?
in a second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state option. Look, I've lived in different places. I know different places. They're all different. Some places, $15 is not so bad. In other places, other states, $15 would be
Okay, President
ruinous.
Trump, thank you. Quick
No,
response,
true.
Vice President
We're
Biden.
Two
true.
jobs, one job, be below poverty. People are making $6, $7, $8 an hour. These first responders, we all clap for as they come down the street.
He's talking
because
about
they've
first
allowed us to
responders again.
What's happening? They deserve a minimum wage of $15. Anything below that.
Where
puts you
the hell
below
is
the
a first
poverty level.
responder not
And there
making
is no
$15
evidence
an
that if
hour?
you raise the minimum wage, businesses go out of business. That is
What are
simply
you talking
not true.
about?
We're going to talk about
Also-
immigration. We're going to talk about immigration now,
We're not even
gentlemen.
talking about first
And we're going to talk about
responders.
families within this context.
You're a
Mr.
Black
President, your
Lives Matter
administration
supporter. You
separated
hate
children
them.
From their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through
But
merit.
how will you
But let
reunite
me
these
just tell
kids
you,
with their families?
She's interrupting
they
him.
built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages. And then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. And it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you
They
have a
built
plan to
cages.
reunite the kids
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on
families?
it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this
I love
conversation.
Mexican
Quick response and then
people.
another question to you.
These five
I will build a great
tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock. And
They got separated
violates
from their
every
parents
notion of
before
who
they
we
even
are
got
as
to
a
the
nation.
border.
Let me ask you a follow-up
Kristen,
question.
they did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
they
to
did
that?
it. We changed.
did not
They built the
separate the
cages.
ba- they-
who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about. What happened? Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they cannot find over 500 sets of those parents, and those kids are
That's
alone.
because they were separated
Nowhere to
before
go.
the damn
Nowhere to
border.
go.
What parent is going to just lose their kid and not go show up to the front desk and be like, excuse me, I'm looking for my child?
They are so well taken care of. They're in facilities that were so clean.
But some of them haven't been reunited
But
with
just
their
ask
families.
one question. Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages?
Let me ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice President. The Obama
Who built the
administration did fail
cages,
to
Joe?
deliver immigration reform, which had been a key
Fire.
promise during the
Fire.
administration. It also presided over
The whole
record
country
deportations
finally
as well
heard
as
that.
family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And
Okay,
all of
yeah.
those
No,
so-called
thank you.
Dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy and they want to do that.
He's
is they're going
pandering.
to a country they've never
Absolutely
seen before.
pandering.
I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River and it's illegal. And you say, oh no, Mom, leave me here. I'm not going to go with you. They've been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this
There
crisis.
are no illegal
We
immigrants
owe them.
in this country. There are none who are first
To
responders.
do what he said he
None.
was going to do. And I've changed without having a specific.
You can't get a
Liberty
bank
Catch and
account
Release. We got
without
rid
a
of
social
lot
security
of
number. You think they're going to let you
horrible
work as a
things that they
first
put in
responder?
and that
He
they
is
lived with.
full of it.
But he had 8 years he was vice president. He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Vice President
Wrong.
Biden, your response.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across and they were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They were released. And guess what? They showed up for a hearing. And this is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America. That's never happened before in America. You come to the United States and you make your case that I seek asylum based on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law.
You do that in your own
They're
country.
sitting
You
in
don't
squalor
do
on the
that
other
here.
side of the river.
President Trump, your response,
So
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll move
It
on.
just shows that he has no understanding of immigration or the laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back in 2 years, 3 years. We're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case. When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
But they're
President
very,
Trump, let's
very
give
few.
Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to move on to the
You don't
next
know the
section.
law,
Biden is so
Vice
white, he
President
looks
Biden, your
like death.
response.
Know the law. What he's telling you is simply not true.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
Check it out.
All right, let's move on
But we don't have to
the
worry
next
about it because they
section.
terminated it, so we don't have to worry about
Let's
it
move
anymore.
on to the next
And you have
section.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be and lost their parents.
Go ahead.
All right, let's talk about our next section, which is race in America. And I want to talk about the way Black and brown Americans experience race in this country.
Here we
Part
go.
of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance that they could be targeted, including by the police, for no reason other than the color of their skin. Mr. Vice President,
As a
in the next 2
Latino,
minutes,
I never
want
got
you to
that
speak
talk,
directly
and
to
I
these
didn't need it.
families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. She's has her
Damn
graduate
right,
degree from
Ando.
the University of Pennsylvania.
Or Andazant.
And you know,
If you're not for me, you ain't
one of
black.
the reasons why I ended up working on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware, which is 90% African American,
Quotes from Mr.
was to
Biden.
learn more about what was going on. What I never had to tell my daughter, if she's pulled over, make sure she puts for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how
Are we talking birds and bees, J.A., or are we talking about color?
When you're walking down the
We
street,
might have to have the
don't
talk,
have a
Doc.
hoodie on when you go across the street. Making sure that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, just yes, sir, no, sir, hands on top of the wheel, because you are, in fact, the victim, whether you're a person making child of a $300,000 a year person, or someone who's on food stamps. The fact of the matter is, there is institutional racism in America. And we have always said, we've never lived up to it, that we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. But guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it, but we've always constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion, not exclusion. This is the first president to come along and says that's the end of that. We're not going to do that anymore. We have to provide for economic opportunity, better education, better health care, better access to schooling, better access to opportunity to
schooling, you mean
money
education?
To start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating the ability to have wealth as well as it is to be free from violence.
Sit down.
President Trump, same question to you, and let me remind you of the question. I would like you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
Yes, I do. And again, he's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community. And they were called, and he called them super predators. And he said that. He said it, super predators. And they have never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture, and everybody knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones.
I don't mind him referring to himself in the third person.
People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary.
Trump is a
the
huge
Black
name.
And Hispanic communities. And then historically,
You get a name
Black
like Trump, you can
colleges
refer to
and
yourself in the
universities.
third person.
After 3 years of coming to the office, I love some of those guys. They were great. They came into the office and they said, I said, what are you doing? After 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming back? Because we have no funding. I said, you don't have to come back every year. We have to come back because President Obama would never give them long-term funding, and I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money than they asked for because they said, I think you need more. And I said, the only bad part about this is I may never see you again because I got very friendly with them, and they like me and I like them. But I saved historically black colleges and universities.
Okay, and we're going to talk about both of your records, but your response to that, Vice President?
My response to that is I never, ever said what he accused me of saying. The fact of the matter is...
Oh, he never said super predators?
The crime bill had been in
Guys, it's on video.
This is the guy who said, the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail. There's not enough people in jail. And go on my website, get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people. He talked about marauding gangs, young gangs, and people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park Five innocent
Orange
black
man
kids
bad,
continued
huh?
to push for making sure that
How about some policy, Biden? What are you going to do for people?
Were guilty of what the crimes they were suggested. Look, and talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people, he commuted 20 people's sentences. We commuted over 1,000 people's sentences. Over 1,000. The very law he's talking about is
over
a law
8
that,
years,
in fact,
and most of them were in the
initiated by
second
Barack
term.
Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation here where the federal prison system was reduced by 38,000 people under our administration. And one of these things we should be doing, there should be no no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going to jail because they have a drug problem. They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail.
They already do that.
Fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less
47
than that?
years ago.
You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this. But you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing.
We did.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
Vice
Damn.
President Biden, your response to that, and then I do have some questions for both of you.
I ran because of how poor you ran the country.
What's happening here is,
Woo!
you know who I am, you know who he is, you know his character, you know my character.
It has nothing
You
to
know
do
our
with
reputations
character.
for
It's about how you got to
honor,
run the
truth.
country, you dummy.
I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. The character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot.
Character of the
Look at this
country is on
Let
the
me ask
ballot,
you folks,
by the
please
way.
respond, and then we're gonna
I'm
have
sure that's
follow-up.
more
True
important than
about
how I'm going to
Russia,
feed my family,
Ukraine,
right?
China, other countries, Iraq. If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
All right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
Nobody's
Take a look
President
at the
Trump, I
laptop
want to
from
stay
hell.
on the issue
Excuse
of
me,
race. We're
take a look
talking
at
about
the
They're trying to
laptop
stop
from
him.
hell.
President Trump, we're
Nobody.
talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
And I
you've
have to
just
respond to that.
Please,
Because look,
very
there
quickly.
are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that has all the 5 former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And
You
that's
gotta be-
exactly what-
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what
This
was
is
told.
where he's going. The
All right.
laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of
Oh,
race.
You
okay?
wow.
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President,
again with Russia.
We're going to continue
Boy,
on the issue of race. Mr. President,
believe
you've
that one.
described the Black Lives Matter movement as a symbol
They
of
muted
hate.
his mic.
You've shared a video of a man chanting white power to millions of your supporters. You've said that black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired.
The
What do you
white
say to
power thing, he
Americans
didn't
who
watch
say
the
that
video.
kind
It
of
was a
language from the
retweet. He
president
saw the
is
beginning. He saw people
contributing to
coming
a
by
climate
in
of
their
hate and racial strife?
Well, yeah,
golf
it was the
carts,
first time I ever
and
heard
he
of
didn't
Black
watch the whole
Lives
thing.
Matter.
He just
They were
retweeted.
chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
Well, what do you say to Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric?
I don't know.
and by
I mean, I
the
don't know
videos?
what to say. I got criminal justice reform done and prison reform and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It makes me sad because I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire, every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys. Last time we were on stage here, he said, I told him to stand
The
down
poor
and
boys?
stand ready. Come on. This
The
guy
poor
has a
boys,
heart
by the way.
big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a follow-up.
No, he made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did that-
Abraham Lincoln.
No, where did that? No.
You said-
I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm
I didn't
saying-
say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since
Damn.
Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done.
You
for the
notice
black
that Biden
community.
puts a huge
Now,
smile on his
you
face when he
have
gets
done
caught?
nothing other than the crime bill, which put
Oh, God.
Tens of
And the oh
thousands
God from last
of
time. He's
black
doing it again.
Men, mostly in jail.
All right, let me,
And you know
let me,
what?
a- let me
The
ask
poor
Vice
boys.
President
Because if
Biden
you look
a
at what's
question.
happening with the voting right
What?
Let me
He's
ask Vice
losing it.
President
now, that you
Biden
treated them
about
very,
His
very
meds
badly.
are wearing off,
Take a look
guys.
at what's happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change it since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing
Especially
that,
the
in
portion
fact,
on
we should
cocaine,
not
because
send
Hunter happened to
anyone
enjoy it
jail
quite a
for
bit.
A pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money on. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends.
He does. He
They
needs
should
another
not be
freaking
going to
Adderall
jail
shot in the butt.
For a drug or an alcohol
It's wearing off
problem.
big
They should
time.
be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do.
Yeah, see,
That's
Biden
what
has
I'm going to
personal
get
experience
done,
with
because
treatment.
I
That's
think
where he goes to
American
visit his
people have
son.
Now seen that, in fact, it was a mistake to pass those laws relating to drug, but they were not in the crime bill.
But why didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action, Jim.
We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000. We got 38,000 prisoners left from the.
You got nothing done.
38,000 prisoners.
Politicians
were released from federal prison.
are all
We have-
talk,
There were
no
over
action.
1,000 people who were given clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began the process. We lost an election. That's why I'm running to win back that election and change his terrible policy.
I just asked one question.
Change.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this.
Why, Joe?
Tens of
Why?
thousands of
Why?
mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why,
Because-
Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice
No
President Biden,
action,
then we're gonna
buddy.
move on to the next
No
section.
action.
We have
All
a
talk.
Republican Congress.
Got called out.
That's the answer.
Well, you
Okay.
got to talk them into it, Joe.
All right.
Sometimes you got to talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section,
Like I
which
did
is
with criminal
climate
justice
change.
reform. I had
Okay.
to talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
did what we
we're running out
already
of President Trump.
A
you said
candidate
that
advice
environmental
while on the
regulations have
debate
hurt
stage?
Jobs in the energy sector. Vice President Biden, you have said you see addressing climate change as an opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time? Starting with you, President Trump, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I notice Obama goes with all the time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030. Russia goes back to a low standard, and we kicked in right away. It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission
I
standards.
know I'm not the
that
only
we've
one
seen
here
in
hoping
many
that we
years.
go back to
Vice
talking
President
about
We
the
haven't
laptop.
destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change, climate warming, global warming is
Climate warming?
humanity. We have a moral obligation to deal with it. And we're
You have to
told by
speak
all the leading
English.
scientists in the world we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next
Climate
8 to 10
warming, by
years.
the way.
4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to clean up,
To
limit
clean up the climate?
limit emissions will put us in a position
Dude,
where
his
we're
his
in
meds are
real
wearing
trouble.
off.
Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was
He's
able
having
to get
issues.
both
He's
all the
struggling.
environmental organizations as well as labor, the people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan.
Oh, he's glitching.
Because what it does, it will create millions of new good-paying jobs. We're going to invest in, for example, 50,000
Oh my
charging
God.
stations on our highways.
This is
so
a
that we
train
can
wreck.
own the electric car market of the future. In the meantime, China is doing that. We're going to be in a position where we're going to see to it that we're going to take 4 million existing buildings.
400 million existing
homes,
billion?
and retrofit them so they don't
Dude,
use
he's
as much
fucking
energy,
losing his
saving hundreds
shit.
of millions of barrels of
He's
oil
he's
in the
it's over,
process,
guys.
and
It's
creating
over. He's
significant
melting
number of
down.
Jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs, and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's
Oh,
happening.
damn, he got his
Right
shot a little
now,
too
by the
early.
way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create $1 trillion more in economic growth than his proposal does. Not on climate, just on the economy.
President Trump, your
Today came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan, that his plan is an economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to do, if you look at his plan, his
nothing to do with
environmental
climate.
plan,
And
you
is
know who
that they're going to
developed
fire
it?
up coal
AOC
plants to
plus
power
3.
them. That's how it works.
They know nothing about the climate.
I saw
I mean, she's got
I'll
a
tell
good
you later.
line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC plus 3. Look, their real plan costs.
he's turning into senile Joe really
if we had
fast,
the best
guys.
year in the history of our country,
He was pretty
for
spot on
100
towards the
years,
beginning,
we
but
would
he's quickly
not even come
declining.
close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it can be good politically. They want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows. I mean, and many other things.
Okay.
And many other things.
Let me have the Vice President
It
respond,
is
and we're running out of
crazy.
time, and we have a lot
And
more
you'll
questions to
destroy
get
our
to.
country.
So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
Queens.
$100 trillion.
You're the one that just said 100 billion millions or whatever.
This plan this plan is endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor, because they know the future lies. The future lies in us being able to breathe, and they know there are good jobs in getting us there. And by the way, the fastest growing industry in America is the electric, solar energy and
He's
wind.
glitching.
He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, $45, $50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump,
Excuse me.
please
We are
respond, and then I have some
We are
follow-ups.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's very intermittent, it's got a lot of problems, and they happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing.
Find me a scientist
Solar.
said that.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. it's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So it's all a pipe dream.
It's
but
true.
You know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want, and what about fracking?
All right,
Now-
let me
now we
let
have
me
to
have
ask
let
him
me
about
allow
fracking.
Vice President Biden to
I
respond.
never said I oppose fracking.
Bullshit. It's on video.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is
Show
he's
the list.
flat lying.
Would you
Flat-
rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer we need other industries to transition to get to ultimately
He's
complete
losing
zero
it, guys.
emissions by
It's getting worse.
2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money in doing it. But it's a transition to that.
I have one more question.
It's a
in this
transition.
time that we
What?
have-
He was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
Fracking on federal land, I said. No fracking and or oil on federal
Let
land.
me ask this
I
final
did.
question in this section, and then I want to move on to
He's
our
trying
final
to. He's lying.
section.
He tried to say that it
President
was
Trump,
only on
people of
federal
color are
land.
much
That's
more
bullshit.
likely to live near oil refineries
bull.
and chemical plants. In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are
And Zent,
making
thank
them
you for
sick.
posting that.
Your administration has rolled back regulations on these kinds of facilities. Why should these families give you another 4 years in office?
The families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, for Black, for Asian, it's 9 times greater, the percentage gain, than it was under, in 3 years, than it was under 8 years of the 2 of them, to put it nicely. 9 times more. Now, somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it, and I saved it.
Link is
again a
also
number
now
of
in the
months ago
Discord. You
when
can see
oil
where
was
Biden says,
crashing
yes,
because
let's
of the
stop
pandemic.
fracking.
We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back. We saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant again.
All
And
right.
everybody has very inexpensive gasoline. Remember
Vice
that.
President Biden, your response, and then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people live on what they call fence lines. He doesn't understand this. They live near chemical plants that, in fact, pollute. Chemical plants and oil plants and refineries that pollute. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware.
Poor boys, by
And
the way.
There are more oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car and when there was first frost to drive me to school, turn in the windshield wiper, there'd be oil slick in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how you keep them safe. What do? And you impose restrictions on the pollutions the pollutants coming out of those fence line.
He is really having issues.
Okay, I have
He is
one final
struggling.
Would he
question.
close
It
down
falls-
the oil
it
industry?
falls-
Would you close
it
down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's a big
transition.
statement.
By the
It is
way,
a big statement.
if you're in our
Because I would
YouTube
stop
chat and you haven't made it over to our
because
Discord yet,
the oil industry pollutes significantly.
there is the
Here's
link.
the deal. But you
That's a
can't
big
do that.
statement.
It's where all the
Well,
cool
if you let
kids
me
hang out
finish
and the
the
discussion
statement,
continues.
Because it has to be replaced by
after we go
renewable
offline.
energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the gas, to solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I
Ohio.
have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
He takes everything out of context, but the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production.
Somebody get a
by
meme
2050
of
total.
somebody with a
All right.
plastic
One
bag
final
trying to
question.
capture
No, we're
emissions and
finished
put
with
Biden's
you.
head
We're
on it,
going to
please.
our final question. We
No,
have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our final
rejoin Paris
question.
Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right,
That'll
this
cost you
is
$1
about
trillion.
leadership, gentlemen. And this first question does go to you, President Trump. Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans who did not vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you, Mr.
We have to make our country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls from people that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, #1 in the class. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success, but I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything.
He's already said that.
He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell, and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
All right. Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because we have enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. And at the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by
all
clean
emotional
energy,
heartstrings
creating
crap.
millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance.
Cue the violin.
You get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right. I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President
I got my
Joe
magic
Biden,
wand right here.
Thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election day.
I think the moderator,
November
that she was
3rd.
definitely a
Don't
hell of a
forget
lot
to
better
vote.
than
Thank you,
freaking
everyone.
Chris.
Great night.
Thank you.
She will get praise for what she did. She did a good job. See if anybody yells anything here at the end. Biden, you checking out Melania? Giving her some side eye? Oh, look, it's your sister. Or, I mean, your wife. Or, I mean, they switched on him. Hey, Biden, you're supposed to be taking pictures right now. See, Trump looks exhausted, though. This man has been going around doing like 2-3 rallies a day, going all over the country. He is working tough. And Joe Biden lays in his basement, hiding in his bed, only to be, I'm sure, shuttled there in a hospital bed, probably in the back of an ambulance to get there. And then they inject him with Adderall. Man, did you guys see him lose it at the end? He absolutely started melting down. Ivanka is pretty damn hot. With you, I shall agree. What do you guys think about the moderator? Should we see, let's see if we can't, Man, oh man.
Wrong.
He was very wrong. He was very, very wrong on multiple things. Let's see if right side has anything for us. It looks like they put Bill Riley back on. Let's see if we can't find the spin room. I'd sure like to see what's going on. In the meantime, I'll give you guys
debate by sheer force of personality. Now, if you are a Biden supporter, you think he won the debate. If you are a Trump supporter, you feel he won the debate. But if you step back and you look at the two men as leaders, Donald Trump had more power behind his presentation. All right? I know something about power, and he did. But I have to say that Joe Biden didn't really falter. There were no mental acuity issues. He said what he wanted to say in a fairly straightforward fashion. Now, the arch was that Trump is incompetent.
Yeah, I agree.
And on the other side, that Biden is just a politician, an old-time hack, and a corrupt man. And there we have the singular part of the debate that really matters, the corruption issue. As you may know,
which is what we all wanted to hear more of.
A business partner to Hunter Biden came out and said
if we can't
that
find
Joe
some spin
Biden
room stuff
actively
here.
was involved in enriching his son by using the office of the vice presidency in foreign nations. That happened today. All right? That's added on to the
she definitely did a better job, guys. She was a better,
the hard drive that contained all kinds of things that heavily imply that Hunter Biden was making millions of dollars.
Oh, by the way, there's
because
something.
His father was vice president.
So you guys heard that he said he never said he was going to stop fracking?
The entire debate. Now, clearly, the NBC News moderator, Kristen Welker, who did a good job.
That's what we can do here temporarily. What I will do is, here you go, right here.
Stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
I don't know if that came across. It sounded pretty quiet over here. I'm going to play it one more time.
Well, like what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
All right. So as you can see, he said, put the video up. That's the video right there, folks.
I wasn't really interested in talking about that.
Yes, he did.
Now, I told you earlier this week on this program, the No Spin News, and I don't believe anybody else did, that was the strategy born out in Washington among the Democrats paid to get Joe Biden elected, that this is all unverified. But tonight it was taken a step further.
Is this like his most recent tweet?
So let me it's a little confusing, and I want everybody to be with me now. So the debate starts with COVID, but there's nothing that really happens.
Oh, he already put it out, guys.
Trump's fault, everybody's dead. Trump saying, we did a great job,
we'll just go check
and here's
that out.
Why. And it goes nowhere. We've heard it a million times. So you either think that President Trump did a decent job or you don't. All right? Nobody had anything new. Ms. Welker was very energetic in presenting the COVID topic. But again, it just didn't go anywhere. The one thing that was said by President Trump is that there will be a vaccine soon. Now, he said that before.
It's taking a second
and Biden
to pull
dismissed
up here.
that. Biden says there's going to be another 200,000 Americans dead. Okay, how he knows that, I don't know, but that's what it was. Now, after the COVID thing, and during that discussion, Trump took a shot at Biden about the money and the Hunter Biden, the whole scenario.
Yeah, we'll get you the full screen. Wow, Trump's team was on it and on it quick. All right, here we go.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee we're going to end fossil fuel. No new fracking.
I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Would there be any place for
There you
fossil
go, is
fuels,
go,
including
folks.
coal and fracking?
It doesn't get any more obvious than that. Not only is it one video, there's multiple examples. There's multiple videos. There's multiple of both of them saying they're going to get rid of it. So the people of Pennsylvania, I sure hope you guys are getting Donald Trump tweets, because that's pretty important.
American people. Roll it.
But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that
I've
you
got my
were
phone
raking in,
on
you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening. And it should have never happened.
Obvious reasons.
And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference
I got a
little
whole
while
bunch of messages
ago who was
actually.
essentially supposed to work with you and your family. But what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Well, Mr. Biden isn't going to do it because he says this is a fabrication put out by the Russians.
Either way, I think he wants to do away with all of it.
And
I'll tell you what, I wish I would have seen them touch a little bit more on the
that he
emails
alleges
and
Donald
stuff,
Trump
since everybody's
has
trying to censor
by the tax situation.
What do you guys
so
think
there
of
have been reports that the
Trump
president had
soundboard
a
we got
secret Chinese bank account? Mr. Trump explained that pretty well. He said as a businessman, he opened a bank account in China in 2013, and when he decided not to do business there, he closed it in 2050. I think that's true. But Mr. Biden
Mexican
tried to hammer
people. You guys
Trump
heard it here
on
first.
that.
He's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
I prepaid because at some point they think it's an estimate. They think I may have to pay tax.
We got some new stuff.
I already prepaid.
Hey, I
Nobody
appreciate
told me
the
that.
sub earlier.
Nobody
You
told
guys
me
gave
that.
me a little bit of an
And it wasn't
example
written
of
whenever they
some
write
of
this.
the
They keep
updates
talking
that
about
we've
$750, which I think is a filing fee.
When you
But let me
subscribe
just
to
tell
the
you,
channel,
I prepaid millions and millions of
and we get
dollars in
the,
taxes.
the
Number one.
Make
Number
America
two, I
Great
don't make
Again
money from China.
notification.
You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money
Eventually
from
we'll
Russia.
we'll see some more.
You make
But
$3.5
overall,
million,
I think it's pretty
Joe,
simple to
and your
see
son
that,
gave you,
that
they
Trump
even have a
easily
statement
won this
that
debate.
we have to give 10%
easily
to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know. Maybe you're not.
I noticed
but you're the big
that
man, I think.
Biden seemed
Your
really
son said
sharp
we
when
have
he
to
first
give
came
10%
out,
to the big man.
and then it seemed
Joe, what's that all
like
about? It's
whenever he's
terrible.
on, started wearing off at the
Okay,
end,
so
and
I
he
don't
really started
know
having some pretty
whether
serious
American
deficiencies.
voters who support Joe Biden
he
are
kept on
gonna care
misstating
about this at
stuff. He
all.
was stuttering.
I
He
don't
just,
know.
you could tell.
As a journalist, this is a
You
big
could tell.
story. And there's 11 days.
But anyways, it looks to
where
me
that story could unfold.
that
Now,
was our last
tomorrow,
debate.
The Senate is going to call
It seemed
in
to
the
me like they
business
talked
partner
about all
of
the
Hunter
same
Biden
topics again.
because he has phones
We're not
and
learning
more
anything new from
transcripts
these
and more
debates.
emails and all of that.
We just got to watch them go
Okay?
back and forth.
So Biden
the
knows
moderator did a better job.
This is a problem, but he's never going to
well,
admit that. And here's what he said.
If your mind isn't made
My
up
son has
already,
not
if you're an
made money
undecided voter,
in terms of this thing about,
I mean, I don't know
are you
what
talking
rock
about?
you've been
China.
living under, but
I have not had
my
the
mind's
only
been
guy
up
made
since
money
way
from
before
China is this guy.
2016.
He's the only one.
Personally,
Nobody else has made money from China.
I personally believe
All
that
right,
there's
so we
a lot
the
of people
don't know
who might have
who made
had
money from
reservations
China
about
and
Donald
who
Trump, Christians and the like, that were worried about his character, that might have not voted for him in 2016 that will this time around. The fact of the matter is the Democrats are banking that somehow coronavirus, heartstrings, and the character of the president is more important than our Constitution, our freedom, and our liberties. And if I was a betting man, which I am, I'd say that feeding your family and protecting the flag, protecting our freedoms and our liberties, protecting our economy, and making sure that we're not getting into stupid wars. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But I am saying that is a hell of a lot more important than the character of the president or how often he tweets or the coronavirus. I don't think anyone out there believes that Joe Biden would have done a better job. He's already flip-flopped like 3 times on close the country, open the country, close the country. And I mean, that's their trick. It's all about sound bites for them. For them, it's all about, give me the soundbite that says I wouldn't have closed the country, so you can show that to the people who want to see it. And then here's the soundbite saying I would close the country. So, you know, really, LA Times is saying that. Let's see if we can't get some debate news. Vice News is doing an after show. That's something I wouldn't watch. They're about as liberal as they come. Oh, USA live debate fact check. This should be interesting. Let's go ahead and we'll just pop that up right there. Now, it's USA Today, so I'm not expecting anything too great here. But let's go ahead and get to the fact check part. Well, do we have a fact check part in here? Yeah, this isn't a quick back and forth fact checked. Andizant, let's see what you got here. Andizant's got some Andizant's got a news article here. And it'll give us an excuse to hit them with this. Oh, any excuse to use that is beautiful, right? All right. Fact checking the final Trump-Biden presidential debate. Oh, really? So no, it was not expected that 2 million would die from COVID. Yeah, Fauci was saying that, and so were the others. I personally heard him say it. So how could the LA Times say that that is not true? I don't know. It says the statement is completely false from the early estimates. That's where they get you, from the early estimates. It doesn't say that maybe at some point it was finally estimated. It just says from the early estimates. And that's how they brainwash people right there. They stick little words like that in there so that they can make their fact check sound right, because they expect that people who aren't really maybe low IQ, as Trump would put it, don't catch on to that stuff. But that's how they get you. This statement falsely draws from the early estimates, okay, about the COVID-19 pandemic. So in March, the White House projected between 1.5 million and 2.2 million people could die if there were no precautions taken. No social distancing, no lockdowns, no masks. With such interventions, the projection showed the death toll could be between 100,000 and 240,000. Virtually no one expected that no action would be taken. That's what you get from a swampy paper like the LA Times. So no Americans won't be getting vaccinated within weeks. and I don't think anyone believes that Trump is not saying they'll get vaccinated in weeks. He's saying that we will have a vaccine within weeks. He understands that it takes time to then produce it and distribute it. Oh, you guys will have to excuse me. I'm yawning on you. But yeah, I mean, like, we get that. And that's the thing, is that Trump talks like us. He doesn't talk like a politician. He talks in a way that we will understand. You know, like, if I was explaining it to my friends, I'd be telling them too, like, yeah, the vaccine is going to be ready in weeks. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to be able to have it. And it doesn't mean everyone's going to take it, considering that the Democrats were out just weeks ago telling everybody not to trust it. The president has repeatedly said a vaccine is around the corner. Okay, so that's the same thing. Next, no, Trump hasn't been Russia's toughest adversary. Like, is this what they're fact checking? This is insane. Like, okay, then who's been tougher on Russia then? The Trump administration has slapped sanctions on some Russian actors in response to espionage on the United States and attacks on Russian dissidents overseas. The United States expelled a number of Russian spies. Often, however, the actions are taken over the president's objections, and he slow-walked several sanctions on Russia that Congress ordered to impose. Trump has declined to publicly criticize Russian leader Vladimir Putin. That's because Trump doesn't want to get into a pissing match with leaders of other countries. It doesn't make sense. Since when does it make sense? You only use force, and you only, slap another leader of another country whenever they're not doing what they're supposed to. It's like a last resort. He is trying to negotiate and get deals for our country. Of course, he's not going to sit there. But when he says nobody's been tougher, it's because he doesn't put up with any BS. No, there isn't proof that Biden is connected to the corruption in Ukraine or China. Okay. I'm sorry. There's no proof that Biden is connected. Hello? How about the laptop? Hello? How about the emails? Hello? This is the brainwashing, man. This is the brainwashing that the media is putting out there. I take back my breaking news. In fact, I think I need to make a fake news graphic. So when we get fake news, I can... Yeah, that's happening. Here we go. Here's the important one. No, Biden wouldn't ban fracking. So this is how you can tell just how full of it the Los Angeles Times is. He was against fracking. He said it. Biden's comments about fracking has varied some. In a debate during the Democratic presidential contest, Biden suggested he'd permit existing fracking projects but would allow no new fracking. His campaign letter said he meant no new fracking on federal land, which accounts for the fraction of the fracking nationwide. Biden recently revisited the issue in Pittsburgh. The battleground state of Pennsylvania has a number of jobs related to fracking and said, I'm not banning fracking no matter how many times Donald Trump lies about me. Well, I just showed you guys the video. You guys have seen the video. You guys have seen the truth. He has said it not once, not twice, but multiple times. He said it on debate stages. He said it in interviews. His running partner has also said it. They plan on banning it. The only reason they're not willing to come out and say it straightforward is because they're afraid that they're going to lose Pennsylvania over it, because Pennsylvania happens to be ground zero when it comes to fracking. So they're lying. They're straight up lying. And then, of course, Los Angeles Times and the lamestream media, the fake news is out there trying to perpetuate the lies and trying to pass it on. They're willing to do anything here. But this shows you. Los Angeles Times, not a trustworthy paper. I just showed you guys. Okay? You saw it with your own eyes. These people are lying. These people are part of the swamp. They're trash. They're garbage. Do not trust anything that you read from them. But, I mean, are you really surprised? The LA Times? I mean, come on. It's like Liberal Central, them in New York. Oh, did they actually fact check Biden? No, not everyone was able to keep their health care plan under Obamacare. Like, well, yeah, we already know that. Freaking weak-ass fact check. No, Kim didn't snub Obama. Obama wouldn't see him. I don't think Kim wanted to see Obama either. Just saying. You can't take that from Trump. Show the news intro clip again, please. Perfect yet. But here you go. Yes, sir. Yes, made with Plays-It, which you got to pay a pretty penny to get the watermark removed. So, but I do intend on doing that. Also got this done. We got our starting soon screen. So that's new. Great way to get people into the chat and get ready. And then right before we go live, we got some new stuff going. Some pretty entertaining stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I myself need to go get myself something to eat. My shoe, welcome to the chat, brother. Good to see you in here. Also, I'm going to show you guys this. Y'all ever seen one of these before? Do you know how to get this little ring off of there? Let's see if I can do it. Yo, how did I get that off? You're seeing it right here. I got it off. It's 2 horseshoes. There is no breaks in the chains or the horseshoes. And then, to put it back together, boom. We are back on. Just like magic, baby. I always thought one of those were neat. No torches allowed to get it off. Only magic. Only magic. Anyways, folks, I think we are going to wrap this one up. Again, nothing too big. There was a couple big moments, a couple highlights in that one. More Trump beating up on an old man. You know, things that I'm sure Trump the entire time was just sitting there going, "Ay, ay, ay. Like, what is going on?"
He's a nasty guy. Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him anywhere once they get to know him.
Nobody likes him. The guy's a straight loser.
They failed.
He's a failure. And my favorite,
He's a pussy.
he's a big old pussy.
China! China all the time.
We got ourselves our Trump soundboard over here as well. It seems like you guys like that a little bit.
Sit down.
Okay, my bad.
So listen to this. Listen to this. Okay, listen. I employ thousands of people.
The bad hombres.
We have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
And who was it? Who was it in the chat just now that was talking about Ivanka?
Has anyone heard of Ivanka?
Yeah. And my personal favorite.
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
Anyways, I'm about to go grab some food. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching less than 2 weeks now till the election. If you have not gone out and put your ballot into where it belongs with Trump's name on it and voted red up and down the ticket, you should have already done that. If you have done that, then you should be calling your friends and your family members to make sure that they have done it as well. You need to get people out there. Find out if people need rides. Ask people if they've turned in their ballot. If they say no, ask them why. If they need a ride, go give them a ride. Help them get out there. Vote, vote, vote. That's why I said less than 2 weeks. Raymond, thank you for being here, my man. I appreciate you being in here. Oh, you're right. Yes, if somebody can get the sample, I have in the Discord, I have a room at the very bottom called Sound Clips. If somebody can get me that don't ever use the word smart with me and they put that into the Sound Clips in the Discord, I will make sure to use that. Don't vote multiple times. Vote once, do it right. Voting multiple times could disqualify you, so do not do that. So, I got messages and stuff to catch up on here. Send barbecue pictures. You know what, my shoe? You are correct. I have not barbecued for a while. I'm going to barbecue tonight. That's what I'm doing. Matter of fact, and who knows? I might even go live for a little bit outside. I've got some new IRL stuff coming in. I'm tired of the audio on my IRL setup. It sounds like crap, but that should be here almost any day now. What do you guys think of the background? Holy cow. A moving background even. And you guys haven't even seen the dono freaking notifications yet. Just wait and see. Those are coming. And if you haven't yet, check out SEALTeam711.com. Get yourself some merch. That's where you can support the stream. If you have Cash App, or if you don't have Cash App, you can find my link in the description below. You get $5 free for signing up using my link, and then I get $5 too. So everybody wins. It's better than PayPal. From what I understand, it's not run by a bunch of liberals. So download Cash App, use my link, and get free money. Make sure to do that. You can also use the Cash App if you already have it to help support the stream and keep us going. Oh, wait. I've never seen that before. Ah, perfect. Well, there you go. You got the link right in the chat. Got some pretty dope stuff, if I must say so myself. Tell you what, people recognized and was shouting out SEAL Team 711 when I was in the Trump line at the rally, and those people have come and found the channel and subscribed. It looks cool. And it's one of those things that you can wear out in the public that people don't understand quite yet. And unlike some very obvious political gear here in the Northwest that you wouldn't want to wear, you can wear it and people will know. People will know. Holy cow, how do you have so many Slurpees, Andazant? Yes, join our Discord if you have not yet. I will post a link right now. Once again, in the chat so that you guys can join our Discord. We'd love to have you over there. That's where the conversation will continue after I log off here. There you go. And, well, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for enjoying. And if you haven't yet, check out Andazant. Go over to Andazant's YouTube page. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to him, like his videos. Hell, if you're bored, just leave his videos running on in the background. Get us some views. Let's grow this conservative network. Let's expand. That's what we've got to do. We've got to grow, share, subscribe, like, all those things. Please and thank you. Anyways, folks, with that said, sorry, I'm hearing some, I think my neighbors are outside yelling. That was interesting. I don't know what's going on out there. Oh, I did catch somebody trying to mess with my Trump sign. I'll have to tell you guys that story later. But because of my security system, I was able to catch him. But yes, pretty freaking funny. Somebody was actually messing with my Trump sign in my front yard. Uh-oh. Who's fighting over the debate? Oh, Andazant just... Oh, yeah. It could be. It could also just be people out there celebrating the debate. I don't know. I just heard yelling. I didn't know what was going on. Anyways, folks, I've got to go get some food. I am going to barbecue, thanks to my shoe who brought that up. I've got to hurry up and get to the store before they close. But I am going to go get myself something delicious to eat. So, that I am looking forward to. So anyways, I appreciate y'all.